the air out of her. Goldie, that's all we got. Back to you.
That's our Reebok Strike Zone. Be more human. Order the monumental UFC 200 pay-per-view right now. Tate Nunes, Lesnar Hunt, Cormier Silva, Aldo Edgar, and Velasquez and Brown. Cannot wait. Don't forget, tune into the live UFC 200 post-fight show on FS1. Jake Glazer, Dominic Cruz, Michael Bisping, Brian Stan, and Karen Bryant. That is after our main event. And up next, right here on FS1, NHRA qualifying. It comes to you from Chicago. And it starts right now, right here on FS1.
After a well-deserved weekend off.
Enforcement agencies and is punishable by up to 5 years in federal prison and a fine of $250,000.
The day has finally arrived. We are in Las Vegas, the fight capital of the world. Serves as the backdrop for the biggest night in UFC history. A live look outside the brand new T-Mobile Arena. The fans are ready as they make their way inside this sold-out venue. Over 19,000 in attendance for this historic night. This is UFC 200, and it's time.
Me and Jose, I believe we're going to be the best fight of the night. You know, it's a home round decline considering all the other fighters on the card. And I'm ready to show up, get my hand raised, and get the air out of it.
Eu sou campeão e o único campeão brasileiro. E assim, eu vou recuperar meu sonho de volta por causa disso. E pode esperar a melhor chance de todos os tempos. É desafio pessoal. Isso vai trazer benefícios pessoais na minha evolução marcial, né?
My goal is to erase all doubts. My goal is to show once and for all that I am the best fighter in the UFC.
I think it was a mistake for Brock to come back. He should have stayed retired because he's not going to have the outcome he's looking for.
I'm not scared. I'm just coming into this fight ready to have fun and mix it up and you know, and get my hand raised at the end of this deal.
I've been waiting for this moment my whole career, and I'm gonna do everything to be a champion tonight.
Amanda Nunes lacks what I have, and that's mental strength, and I just want this more than she does. I know that, and I will walk away with my hand raised tonight.
The wait is finally over. This monumental moment is now upon us. This is UFC 200. Tate versus Nunes. Sponsored by Bud Light. Raise one to right now. Great atmosphere in tonight's SAP. Brought to you by UFCEspanol.com. Tonight's broadcast available in 100% Spanish. Let's get things started. Hi again, everybody. Mike Goldberg. Welcome to the Ultimate Fighting Championship. You know, the magnitude of tonight's event, it is so awesome. This is such a great thing to be part of, because tonight's event is not the biggest night in UFC history, not the biggest night in just MMA history, not just the biggest night in combat history. This is one of the biggest nights and biggest events in sports history. And my partner Joe Rogan and I, man, we're blessed to be a part of it.
We certainly are, and tonight, as much as it is a collection of amazing fights, it's a celebration. It's a celebration of how far this sport has gone.
Amazing that we are here, and amazing that we have a card unlike any other before Miesha Tate, Amanda Nunes, the main event.
Amazing that Miesha Tate just a year ago was considering her options in the sport and whether or not she wanted to continue. Now she's headlining as the champion in the biggest pay-per-view card in history. Her spectacular title fight winning performance against Holly Holm will go down in history as one of the most dramatic finishes ever. But her opponent tonight is extremely dangerous. Amanda Nunes has dynamic striking, she's very explosive, and she's got a very high-level Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu ground game.
This matchup has been highly anticipated because Miesha is on a roll unlike any other, and Amanda Nunes is very vicious. She is trying to become the first female Brazilian to earn a UFC title. And don't forget, Brock Lesnar is back. And Joe, he goes to his quote all the time, and I just love it. Can you see me now?
Yeah, I saw him at the weigh-ins, and I honestly forgot how big the guy was. When you're standing next to him, he is a real freak of nature. An enormous man who beat Randy Couture to win the title in his 4th professional fight. And Brock back, healthier than ever, and just wants to get in there and live up to the potential that he didn't feel like he was able to accomplish in his first run. But man, what an opponent he has in front of him tonight. One of the greatest strikers in the history of the heavyweight division. Former K1 Grand Prix champion Mark Hunt, one of the best kickboxers in the sport.
Look how big Brock is.
I mean, he is an enormous man. And Mark Hunt also weighing in very close to the 265-pound limit. It should be a barn burner.
I think somebody might just get knocked out, and I know for certain, fans, we are set for a great night of fight. The rest of tonight's pay-per-view card is sponsored by EA Sports UFC 2. Game Informer calls it an adrenaline rush. Get up to 50% off EA Sports UFC 2 at select retailers in-store and online. And we start in the featherweight division for the interim championship. As the most dominant featherweight in UFC history, former champion Jose Aldo faces former lightweight champion Frankie Edgar, who's looking to become only the 3rd man to hold UFC belts in 2 different weight classes. And at light heavyweight, the champion, the 2-time Olympian, Daniel Cormier, coming off defining wins over Rumble Anthony Johnson and Alexander Gustafsson, originally scheduled to face Jon Jones. Instead, will fight the greatest of all time, Anderson Silva, 3-0 inside the octagon at 205. The Spider steps up on 2 days' notice. We take a look inside the locker room of Cain Velasquez, the man that some have called the top heavyweight in UFC history. But the former 2-time champion won't be satisfied until he wears that belt again. Tonight, he fights Travis Brown, whose talent, power, and tenacity has never been questioned. And while his journey has at times been rocky, he can turn it all around with 1 win over the former champ. Our rules of the octagon. 3 judges score the bout duration, 3 5-minute rounds. Tonight's 2 title fights are scheduled for 5 5-minute rounds. A 10-point plus scoring system is in effect, with the round winner gaining 10 points his opponent 9 or less. Judges will score the bouts based on effective striking and grappling, followed by aggression and octagon control in that order.
Joe, one of 2 heavyweight fights here on the pay-per-view card. Take a look at the rankings. Of course, the champion, Cleveland's Stipe Miocic, going to defend his title against Alistair Overeem at UFC 203. Velasquez and Brown, what a matchup. Yeah, I mean, this is a talent-stacked heavyweight division. It's doing very well right now, particularly after Junior Dos Santos just outpointed Ben Rothwell. A very interesting fight coming up between Overeem and Miocic. Of course, Fabricio just losing to Miocic, but still one of the best in the world. And of course, Cain versus Travis right now. This is a critical fight. Critical for Cain, of course, because he's a former champion and really wants to get another shot at the title. And critical for Travis Brown because he has been on the outside of the top 5. It is without a doubt one of the best fighters in the division.
Joe, Travis Brown takes great pride in his Hawaiian heritage and lives by the fighting moniker of Just Scrap. His opponent tonight, Cain Velasquez, knows that his path back to the top can be achieved if he can once again display the warrior spirit of Mexican fighters.
I just want to be known as the type of fighter that the classic Mexican fighters are. Fight with a lot of heart. We're always going forward. We throw exciting fights. We're always tough guys when we go out there and fight. That's what I want to be remembered.
A UFC title would solidify the fact that I'm as crazy as I think I am. How can you not respect my power? How can you not respect my striking ability? This is a big fight for me.
Cain Velasquez, the former UFC heavyweight champion, is one of the greatest heavyweight fighters that's ever lived. Beautiful technical Muay Thai. Lesnar's in big trouble! He also has outstanding striking. Now Cain has an opportunity to regroup and set his sights once again on a fight for the heavyweight title.
Victorious in his UFC debut.
But he can't look past Travis Brown. Travis Brown is an incredibly explosive and agile heavyweight. He moves very quickly and he is capable of exploding out of nowhere. If you look at his Superman punch KO of Stefan Struve, if you look at the front kick that he landed to the face of Alistair Overeem,
That's it, Travis Brown!
or the beautiful uppercut that he dropped Brennan Schaub with. If Travis Brown can beat Cain Velasquez, it will not just be a huge feather in his cap, it will absolutely set him up in line to be next for a shot at the title.
Six and a half. Travis Papa Brown, born in Honolulu, Hawaii, fighting out of San Diego, California, training in Glendale with the Fight Club with Edmund Tarverdian.
Travis is a very tall, very agile heavyweight. Utilizes a very wide stance and has accurate power punches and kicks. One of the interesting things about Travis's defensive game is that brutal elbow that he is able to land and stop people when they're attempting to take him down. And he's done it to great fighters like Josh Barnett. I mean, that was unbelievably impressive that he stopped Josh Barnett that way, and also did the same thing to Gabriel Gonzaga. He's just one of the best in the world at that position. A lot of guys actually call that the Travis Brown, like utilizing elbows from takedown defense. But Travis, being long and having so much leverage, just gets brutal power in those elbows.
Papa had only, Joe, about 6 months of training before his first pro fight. He finished 8 of his 9 opponents on the local circuit, 7 of those by knockout. Tonight, he fights once again inside the octagon, looking for his 10th career UFC win. Travis Papa Brown. Set to face the former champion. First fight in nearly 13 months for the former champion, Joe. First fight since he was defeated by Fabricio Verdum and lost his heavyweight belt.
Very, very frustrating fight for him, but I think a learning experience, especially the fact that Cain was the guy who's, and still is the guy who's known for his cardio, and that is what failed him in that Verdum fight. Also, just spectacular striking by Verdum. We got to see the evolution of his striking game. And, you know, for a guy like Cain, it was a bitter pill to swallow, but back to the drawing board, overcome a few injuries. He had surgery, recovered. Now he's in excellent shape, fit and healthy, and ready to make another run at the title.
11 of his 13 professional wins by knockout. Two-time All-American wrestler at Arizona State. His teammate Daniel Cormier, who will fight later tonight, once said of Cain Velasquez, he is the scariest man in the world. There's nobody in the world like this guy. There's Cain, and then there is everyone else. One of his coaches at Arizona State, Aaron Simpson. Cain was a quiet kid. He was a gotta prove yourself with great work ethic type of guy. Very loyal, very humble, very dangerous, and Joe, we have seen very successful. Our tail of the tape for this, our first fight of the night. 33 years old, both Velasquez and Brown. Look at the height difference. He's gonna go with 6'7" now, 5 inches taller than the former champion, but just a 2-inch reach advantage, weight almost identical. Let's get it going. Here is Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live from the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas for UFC 200, Tate versus Nunes, presented by Bud Light. Raise one to one right now. And now, this fight is 3 rounds in the UFC heavyweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a mixed martial artist holding a professional record, 18 wins, 3 losses, 1 draw. He stands 6 feet 7 inches tall, weighing in at 244 pounds. Fighting out of San Diego, California, presenting the number 7 ranked heavyweight contender in the world, Travis Brown. And now introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, a mixed martial artist holding a professional record, 13 wins, 2 losses. He stands 6 feet 2 inches tall, weighing in at 242.5 pounds. Fighting out of San Jose, California, presenting the former 2-time UFC heavyweight champion and the number 2 ranked heavyweight contender in the world, Cain Velasquez. And when the action begins, our referee in charge, John McCarthy.
Iconic referee, Big John McCarthy. Cain Velasquez. Travis Brown, and UFC fans, let your voice be heard. Tell us who you think is winning each fight by following @UFC on Twitter. All it takes is 1 click to vote on how you're scoring the fight. See all the results live. Here we go. Velasquez in the dark trunks, Travis Brown in the white trunks. 6'7", former basketball player. Oh! Big shot early.
Big, clean right hand by Travis. Perfectly placed.
Edmund Tarverdian saying, you know he's going to come over the top of that overhand right, no worries.
Immediate pressure as we expected by Cain, but that was a brilliant counter punch by Travis. Cain with a couple of jabs.
Velasquez with that great wrestling background I spoke of. But Travis Brown has really worked hard on his ground game, working with Ricky Lundell, Neil Melanson a ton.
Cain goes up high. Nice knee to the body by Travis. There's a single attempt. Good defense by Travis. Nice knee to the body by Cain. With a couple punches in the clinch.
Velasquez and Cormier fighting on the same night, which means they put themselves in the same position and really drained each other at times mentally and physically so they could peak together tonight here at UFC 200. Cardio Cain starting to go to work in the clinch. Now they break.
Cain just has unbelievable cardio for a heavyweight. Really just incredibly unusual.
Yeah.
The pace that he's able to keep, but it's also because of the efficiency of his technique. You never see him winding up and coming from way back with techniques. Everything is clean and crisp. Very efficient striking dynamics.
Two-time heavyweight champion. No heavyweight Joe in UFC history has ever defended the title 3 times. Amazing.
That is amazing. Good combination by Cain.
Of 18 career wins, 14 by knockout for Brown.
Whoa, look at that. Wheel kick by Cain Velasquez.
He got hurt.
Oh, he tagged him. Travis
big shot.
Travis moved out of that. Oh,
and again, Velasquez on top. Big ground and pound. Landed 2 big bombs at least there.
He's passing over that left knee. Wants to pass over that left knee of Travis. Travis is doing a good job of keeping that in place. Keeping Cain off of him. And Cain's moving to half guard here on top. Travis utilizing that underhook on the right side. Is going to try to get back up, but Cain is really working to pin him down here.
Look at the total strikes. And Velasquez continues with the ground and pound. Still a ton of time to work. 90 seconds on the clock here in round 1.
Travis has got to be careful here as he's getting up. He can't be careless. Cain's got his face. And Travis one more time getting those long knees into play. Trying to keep Cain off. It tries to explode. And Cain shuts him right back down.
Good control by Velasquez.
Travis almost back up, and Cain drags him to the ground again. Cain is just the master of these kind of scrambles.
When Velasquez won the heavyweight belt against Brock Lesnar, he basically tore his shoulder in the fight, but became the champion.
Travis back up. Good jab by Travis. Oh! Hard left hook.
Spin and a miss.
Again,
but he got him with the right hand. Uppercut.
Nice knee to the body by Cain.
Good first round for Velasquez. And Brown is feeling the effects. 20 seconds. John McCarthy right on top of the action.
Cain all over him here. Travis is stuck. Travis is in real trouble. He's eating some hard shots.
10 seconds. Velasquez might get the stop here. It is all over. Cain Velasquez, the winner. First round TKO.
Very, very impressive performance by Cain Velasquez. Looked like the Cain Velasquez of old. Put his combinations together well, used his grappling, his pace. Just classic vintage Cain Velasquez.
#12th UFC win. Fight replay brought to you by Bud Light. Raise one to right now.
And here's something we never see from Cain. Wheel kicks, not just one, but two in that round. Really showing all sorts of new attacks, but beautiful, accurate striking. Look at this right hand. Boom, dropped him with that one. Swarmed him. Ducked under there, got him to the ground. And this is the beginning of the end for Cain Velasquez. Excuse me, for Travis Brown. Victory for Cain Velasquez. Just excellent performance by Cain. Really a classic Cain Velasquez beatdown.
Cain Velasquez scoring his 10th knockout inside the octagon. That moves him ahead to #1. Andrei Arlovsky with 9. Most knockouts in UFC history overall. Vitor 12. Anderson will fight later tonight. Here is Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee John McCarthy has called a stop to this contest at 4 minutes, 57 seconds of the very first round. Declaring the winner by TKO, Cain Velasquez.
I'm here with the winner, Cain Velasquez. First of all, Cain, congratulations on an excellent victory over a very tough opponent in Travis Brown. How does it feel to be back, and how good does it feel to be back on the winning side?
Feels good, you know. I have a lot of respect for Travis. You know, he goes out there, fights hard. It just feels good, you know, just to come back and fight again, you know, in front of everyone and get a win. You know, get a win. Thank you.
Well, this was a classic Cain Velasquez performance. You put your pace on him, your excellent striking. How happy are you with this, and where do you feel this puts you in the heavyweight division now, ultimately gearing towards you getting another shot at the title?
You know, I'm always looking for perfection, you know. I feel like my time was off a little bit, and that's something that's going to be coming with more fights, obviously. I want to fight the best guys. I want to fight for a title, yeah. Whatever the UFC wants me to fight, I'll do it, but I want to fight the best guys.
We've never seen you throw wheel kicks inside the octagon. You're obviously adding new techniques to your arsenal. That was very impressive as well. Fantastic night tonight, Cain. Enjoy it, and I guarantee we'll see you again soon. Cain Velasquez, ladies and gentlemen.
Congratulations, Cain Velasquez. Big win, still atop the elite inside the octagon in the UFC heavyweight division. What a night, UFC 200. Dwight Howard on his way to Atlanta. Talk about a wingspan. That guy is outstanding. In the house tonight, having some fun. And our good friend DeMarco Murray of the Tennessee Titans and Bishop Gorman High School. UFC Unfiltered with Jim Norton and Matt Serra is the must-listen podcast for fight fans. Edgy veteran comedian Jim Norton and former UFC welterweight champion Matt Serra push the boundaries. Jim Norton, Matt Serra, in the UFC's first audio series, Unfiltered, delivers new episodes every Tuesday and Thursday. Subscribe today on iTunes, Google Play, and or Spotify.
Two of the biggest personalities in MMA.
I make the predictions and I make them wrong.
Now host the best podcast in the sport.
I'm the first guest. We're not going to mention the 8 fighters that said no.
UFC Unfiltered with Jim Norton and Matt Serra brings you the latest in fight news and analysis, behind-the-scenes stories, pop culture debates, celebrity guests, and more.
We have The Rock calling in. How are you, man?
I just want to see a great fight.
Hear new episodes every Tuesday and Thursday on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, and UFC.com. UFC Unfiltered, powered by digital media.
UFC 200, Tate versus Nunes, is being brought to you by Bud Light. Raise one to right now. By Metro PCS, where you get nationwide coverage on the blazing fast 4G LTE T-Mobile network for just $30 period. And by WWE 2K17. Pre-order now and play as Goldberg. In stores October 11th. Rating pending. By Metro PCS, where you get nationwide coverage on the blazing fast 4G LTE T-Mobile network for just $30 period. And by WWE 2K17. Pre-order now and play as Goldberg. In stores October 11th. Rating pending.
I've worked really hard for a really long time, and I'm not going to let anybody take that away from me, especially not Amanda.
I've been waiting for this moment my whole career, and I'm going to do everything to be a champion tonight.
Amanda Nunes lacks what I have, and that's mental strength, and I just want this more than she does. I know that, and I will walk away with my hand raised tonight.
To beat Miesha Tate tonight, I have to be patient and let her make mistakes and finish her, and I'm going to be the champion.
I don't really care what Amanda's game plan is. I have my own. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to implement it in the octagon tonight, and I will come out the victor.
Tonight's arrivals are sponsored by Harley-Davidson. See your dealer today and learn to ride like some of your favorite UFC fighters with Harley-Davidson Riding Academy. Live your legend. Miesha Tate, winner of 5 straight. Tate choked out Holly Holm, who had just knocked out Ronda Rousey to earn the belt. She will look for her first title defense tonight against one of Brazil's finest finishers, Amanda Nunes, who has ended 11 of her 12 career wins, 9 by knockout, and she has 3 career victories in under 30 seconds.
Conor McGregor, the real money fight is me.
I'm just the best there is, and that's it.
What are we gonna do? You do nothing. Oh! What a fight!
Conor got his ass beat.
That's it! He got the choke! I'm not surprised.
Better step it up for this one. Nate, rest up. The king is coming.
Oh! Conor McGregor! He slapped him! Nate Diaz! What a night, ladies and gentlemen!
And he is here, the notorious one, Conor McGregor. 6 weeks away from UFC 202. Diaz versus McGregor 2. Joe, right back here inside the T-Mobile Arena. What a card.
I love the fact that he wanted that fight again, and I can't wait to see it again. I can't wait to see both these guys with a full training camp. You got to think, Nate Diaz just took that first fight on 11 days' notice. And look at the rest of the card. Rumble Johnson versus Glover Teixeira, Damian Maia versus Carlos Condit, Rick Story versus Donald Cerrone, and Tim Means and Sean Strickland. That is a fantastic card.
Tickets go on sale this Friday, July 15th. Head over to UFC.com for more info. Tonight's UFC 200 is brought to you in high definition. And fight fans, for this historic event, for the first time ever, our pay-per-view is also available in 4K. These fighter rankings are sponsored by EA Sports UFC 2. Get up to 50% off of EA Sports UFC 2 for a limited time at select retailers in-store and online. Joe, let's check him out. Of course, Conor McGregor, the top featherweight in the world.
Well, he certainly is. We got Conor as the #1. Jose Aldo and Frankie Edgar will fight tonight for the interim title, and the winner of that will most certainly be in line for a shot at the title after this. But then you got to look at Max Holloway, who has been on a tear. Max Holloway, who has done a fantastic job of improving and growing and winning since his fight with Conor McGregor, which is the first fight that Conor had that went to a decision in the octagon. So it's a really, really exciting division right now, and this fight that we're about to see is one of the most important ones. Frankie Edgar, who has been on a tear, just fantastic performances against Cub Swanson, against BJ Penn, against Uriah Faber, the knockout of Chad Mendes. I mean, he is as good as anyone in this 145-pound division, and he wants to prove that he's better than when he fought Jose the first time.
Max Holloway, 9 straight, but we are about to put the interim title on the line at 145. Unbeaten for 10 years. Jose Aldo lost his belt to Conor McGregor in just 13 seconds. Frankie Edgar, the former lightweight champion. 5 straight wins tonight. His 5th straight 5-round fight. What a great battle we will have as Edgar looks to make history and Aldo looks to bring the belt back to where he believes it belongs, in his home country of Brazil. Jose Aldo, unbeaten for over a decade.
That's it. Jose Aldo remains the UFC featherweight champion.
Tudo caminhando bem, até que veio aquele gosto amargo. Eu acho que essas coisas às vezes é bom você dar um passo atrás para dar 3 na frente. Eu nasci para ser o campeão. E vou ser o campeão de novo.
For Jose Aldo, the good news is he has an opportunity to regroup now against Frankie Edgar for the interim title. If he can beat Frankie, it sets him up to fight for the undisputed title against Conor McGregor when Conor returns to the featherweight division. The bad news is Frankie Edgar has gotten substantially better. Better since the time he beat BJ Penn to win the title. Better since the first time that he challenged Jose Aldo for the featherweight title. If you look at Frankie Edgar's unbelievable performance against Cub Swanson, if you look at the way he skillfully outpointed Uriah Faber, if you look at the way he knocked out Chad Mendes in 1 round, Frankie Edgar is one of the best pound-for-pound fighters on the planet Earth today.
I think when me and Aldo fought 3 years ago, that was the best Aldo. I think now when we fight, he's going to see the best Frankie.
Eu levo uma diferença muito grande nele, ou na velocidade, ou na explosão, onde ele quiser lutar, eu estou muito à frente dele ainda. Estou me sentindo como fosse José Aldo antigamente.
When you taste gold, you want it back immediately when you lose it. Ever since I lost it back in 2012, I've been thinking nothing but of being a champion again.
Eu sei que eu vou vencer a luta e assim eu vou apagar aquele momento amargo que ficou da última vez que eu entrei lá dentro.
I train like a champion, I act like a champion. Now I'm just missing that belt now.
Once again, Frankie Edgar makes his run to the octagon.
Yeah, I feel sorry for the security guards that have to try to keep up with them. Look at this, guys. They're going to have heart attacks. Yeah, Frankie likes to get after it quick. He is in tremendous shape. He pushes a pace like no one else in the division, and we really saw that in the Cub Swanson fight. Just breaks people. Incredible work ethic. Constantly improving and refining his technique, both in submissions and his stand-up. He's as good as he's ever been, and he is one of the best fighters in the world today.
Frankie Edgar's teammate, Joe, became the UFC lightweight champion, the belt that Frankie used to hold 2 nights ago. Congratulations, Eddie Alvarez.
Incredible performance by Eddie Alvarez. A fight he was a big underdog, shocked the world, and came out with a first-round knockout and a UFC title.
5-0 since the first time he fought Jose Aldo. Frankie Edgar trying to become the 3rd man in UFC history to hold a belt in 2 different weight classes. Randy Couture, BJ Penn, both in the Hall of Fame. Frankie Edgar made his UFC debut about a decade ago, Joe.
It is just an incredible fight. I can't wait to see this happen again. I can't wait to see what adjustments he's made and what strategies he and his crew have devised to deal with the lethal striking of Jose Aldo.
So much history, so many great fighters, experienced veterans. Gray Maynard fighting on International Fight Week. Made me think back to what Frankie Edgar survived against Gray Maynard.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot of human beings that would have figured out a way not just to survive those 2 encounters, but to come back, make a draw in the first fight, and stop him in the second fight. I mean, it was amazing. Just absolutely amazing.
Frankie "The Answer" Edgar set to fight for the interim belt. UFC history. Jose Aldo had a 10-year winning streak, 18 fights without a loss, until a very disappointing 13 seconds against Conor McGregor.
Jose Aldo, if you look at his career, he is without a doubt one of the greatest pound-for-pound fighters ever. If you look at his amazing run in the featherweight division, he beat a who's who, and he did it with spectacular leg kicks, some of the best leg kicks you're ever going to see in MMA, beautiful Muay Thai, and an incredible jiu-jitsu game to go with it. Comes from that Nova União camp. You see him there with head coach Andre Pederneiras, one of the top camps in the world, particularly in the lighter weight divisions.
For the first time since 2006, we do not have a single Brazilian UFC champion. Vitor Belfort lost to Randy Couture at UFC 49, August 21st, 2004. Not a single Brazilian was a champion inside the octagon until Anderson Silva beat Rich Franklin at UFC 64, October 14th, 2006, 784 days. Jose Aldo wants the drought to be 2 days.
I'll tell you one thing, Aldo looks physically much better than his last fight. He looks very muscular, very ripped, looks like the Aldo of old. And we know for a fact that he trained incredibly hard in preparing for this, was very motivated, very emotional about that loss to Conor McGregor, and he ultimately feels that that loss and that setback is going to be a good thing for him.
We are about to find out. Our tale of the tape for this featherweight title fight. The former lightweight champion, 34 years old. The former featherweight champion, 29 years old. Jose Aldo will have a slight reach advantage. For the official introductions, Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this fight is 5 rounds for the interim UFC Featherweight Championship of the World. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a freestyle fighter holding a professional record, 19 wins, 4 losses, 1 draw. He stands 5 feet 6 inches tall, weighing in at 144 1/2 pounds. Fighting out of Toms River, New Jersey, presenting the former UFC lightweight champion and the #2 ranked featherweight contender in the world, Frankie the Answer Edgar! And now introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, a mixed martial artist holding a professional record, 25 wins, 2 losses. He stands 5 feet 7 inches tall, weighing in at 145 pounds. Fighting out of Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, presenting the former WEC featherweight champion and the former UFC featherweight champion and the #1 ranked featherweight contender in the world, Jose Aldo Jr. And when the action begins, our referee in charge, Mark Goddard.
Okay, gentlemen, you know the rules you're fighting under. Listen to me at all times. Keep yourself protected. When I say stop, you stop. Touch gloves. Let's do this.
Jose Aldo is all about business right now.
Yeah, he is very intense. This is a very, very important fight for him. You have to consider the fact that he went on this amazing unbeaten streak only to lose in devastating fashion with a first-round knockout. He wants retribution.
Interim title on the line in the featherweight division. Here we go! Tonight's fight clock brought to you by Bud Light. Raise one to right now. Aldo in the Brazilian colors. Frankie Edgar in the black trunks. Aldo dynamic, and he has vicious kicks.
Yeah, that right kick in particular is just devastating. The Uriah Faber fight is probably the best example of that. He's some of the best leg kicking in the game, and Frankie opens up with a leg kick of his own.
Frankie, great movement. Great hands, durable, and dangerous. More dangerous, Joe, than ever. Aldo said he went back to his Muay Thai roots for this fight.
What's interesting, because we've noted before that Aldo has an amazing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu game, but you very rarely see it in his fights because his striking is so lethal.
The first matchup was Frankie Edgar's featherweight debut at UFC 156. Fight of the night 3.5 years ago. Aldo by unanimous decision. What a great fight. Five-minute rounds. Seconds in. Ton of mutual respect.
And these guys went to war.
Oh, yeah.
And it was a very close fight before, and Frankie believes that he is just a much better fighter now than he was then. But you're dealing with an incredibly motivated Aldo right now.
Frankie said he felt, Joe, that he fought the best Jose Aldo the first time. And he believes that he's the best Frankie Edgar tonight. Time will tell.
And also, we need to find out and see psychologically where Aldo's at.
Absolutely.
Right now he's performing very well, but that's a devastating thing to come back from. And there's a nice combination by Frankie.
Mentally, you need to weather an early storm or two and realize that you're back durable and go to battle. Brazilian colors on the trunks of Jose Aldo. The design of the UFC Fight Kit shorts maintains the original silhouette while driving a connection between the athletes and fans through a celebration of national pride. This monumental UFC 200.
A lot of movement by Frankie, a lot of feinting, just really not allowing Jose to set up on him, particularly with that right leg kick, which was a devastating weapon in their first fight. Aldo hasn't thrown hardly any of them, if any, so far in this round. Look at this nice takedown attempt. Beautiful defense by Aldo. And it's been Frankie who's been throwing a lot of kicks, inside and outside, on that left leg of Jose Aldo.
It's been a while since Frankie, in fact, the last fight with Aldo, since Frankie fought for the title. But Joe, he has been in 4 straight 5-round main events. Aldo, of course, has been in 5-round fights throughout his UFC career.
That was a good combination there by Frankie. He's catching Aldo with his chin up. And Aldo's got to be careful of that as he pulls away from those exchanges, because Frankie's not stopping with 1 or 2. He's continuing with these combinations and catching them on the end. A lot of movement.
Yep.
Just Frankie never allows him to set. And Aldo's, he's got to establish that right kick. They both went for a kick at the same time there.
Both.
Oh, right hand by Aldo. Good right hand, clean.
Both, Joe, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belts. Frankie with a wrestling pedigree. Total strikes. Edgar at about 50%. Final 30 seconds of the round.
Oh, nice knee to the body by Aldo. It was a hard knee.
Yes, it was. And it was a knee that finished Chad Mendez.
And he timed that. Oh,
and again he goes to it. Frankie avoids the big shot.
Good kick to the body by Aldo.
Great finish to round 1. Corner Cam brought to you by Hudson Shipping, transporting innovation.
Perfeito round,
perfect round. Perfect round.
Bota agora a boca e cospe essa cospe.
Spit it out.
Perfeito.
Perfect. It was perfect.
Respirou agora.
Breathe right
Tá
now.
Perfeito.
It was perfect.
Vai começar esse joelho todo a entrar.
The knees are going to start to go in. He's going to try to go to your legs. Your crosses are landing. That's what everyone said. Your crosses are landing. I just need you when he steps back.
And here we see Aldo catching Frankie running in.
Edgar, the lightweight champion from 2010 to 2012, 3 title defense, 7 UFC title defense at featherweight for Jose Aldo. And the knees came late, and Edgar avoided.
I'm very curious to see what adjustments, if any, Frankie's going to make in the second round. If Aldo really started to find a home for both the right hand and that knee to the body. Aldo seemed to loosen up towards the end of that first round, Mike. Nice leg kick by Frankie.
Both men have highlight reel finishes inside the octagon. The moment when Aldo went into the stands in Brazil, just such a great moment for him and his country and the Novo Lundau team. I still remember when Frankie shocked the world, beating BJ Penn to win the belt.
Frankie's been having some good success with leg kicks, and it's kind of interesting because we really haven't seen any from Jose.
Nor has he attempted to check any of them.
Yeah, but that is his forte.
Yeah.
And when he opens up on them, they're devastating. I'm wondering if he went to a strategy of avoiding the kicks because Frankie's so good at takedowns, just doesn't want to give him that. There's that knee again. He caught him with it, shook him right off. Very nice. Very nicely done by Aldo.
Frankie keeps the pressure on, goes right up the middle.
He's got to be real careful with those knees, Mike. Those knees to the body have been devastating.
Those are fight-ending knees that Aldo throws. The Brazilian loosening up here in round 2. Some blood from Frankie Edgar's face. Aldo, nice head movement there. Good defense by the former featherweight champion.
Well, Aldo has been able to land some devastating shots, particularly in that first round. And I think he's got his rhythm and feels confident now. And Frankie, because of those hard shots, is a little more hesitant about closing the gap. Because he got tagged there. Yep. He's a little more hesitant about paying the price. Oh, he tagged Aldo there with the right hand. That was an excellent right hand by Frankie.
Aldo, not even close to getting that takedown. Went back to his Muay Thai roots, as I mentioned before, brought in Emerson Falcon, Muay Thai kickboxing champion, and again, great takedown defense. But we've seen that for years from Jose Aldo, Joe.
Yeah, his takedown defense is outstanding, and his ability to recover if you do take him down. A little bit of a cut over the right eye of Frankie.
Ricardo Almeida, Mark Henry. Mark Henry, the striking coach. Of course, UFC veteran, Ricardo Almeida.
Faster on the hand, Frankie. Faster on the hand. Quicker, hands out, hands at him, hands at him. Watch the spin, watch the spin. Yeah!
Frankie landed that jab. Oh, hard right hand by Aldo.
Good combination by Edgar. Aldo again with good defensive timing.
Another good right hand by by Aldo. Aldo countering very well here, Mike.
Yes. Constant motion like always from Edgar. Thought about the takedown, but not even close.
And he's sliding back nicely and landing that right hand.
Little slip and rip.
Good
switch kick. 30 seconds left on the clock here in round 2.
Good jabs by Aldo and a good kick by Frankie. There's a knee again.
Caught it.
Wow, look at the takedown defense by Aldo.
Yeah, and you know what? Jose Aldo's kind of throwing Frankie Edgar around, Joe.
Well, one of the things that we said when he came into the octagon tonight, physically he looks better than his last fight. He looks very strong. Obviously, he's been working on his strength and his conditioning at a very high level for this fight.
Corner Cam brought to you by Hudson Shipping, transporting innovation. There's Mark Henry.
Listen, you missed the shot, get up and hit it. He's stopping every time you miss the shot. And that's when he's hitting you after you miss the shot. You understand what I'm saying? Just keep going. No, in the last 30 seconds is the only time he's going. Start feeling hard the last 30 seconds. Don't flinch coming up. If you're going to shoot, shoot on his pivot. And don't shoot head inside. Shoot head on the outside.
Right hand by Frankie Edgar. And there's a nice jab and a right hand by Aldo. And a good counter right by Aldo as Edgar landed a shot.
The unauthorized reproduction or distribution of this copyrighted work is illegal and punishable under law. A monumental evening here in Las Vegas, sold out, 19,000 strong in the brand new T-Mobile Arena. This fight for the UFC Interim Featherweight Championship. The former featherweight title holder, Jose Aldo, the former lightweight champion, Frankie Edgar.
Frankie's landing these leg kicks. They don't seem to have a lot on them. And Aldo isn't respecting them. He's not checking them. He's just absorbing them, and they don't seem to be bothering him. There's a nice one. Aldo is just planting his feet and looking to throw bombs and catch Frankie as he's coming in. And again, right there, it's almost like he wants to do to Frankie what Conor did to him. There's takedown defense by Aldo, just spectacular. Looks so fast and explosive tonight.
Jose Aldo just looks so much more physically strong in this matchup than we've seen previously. Look at the distance traveled by these men. Constant motion, especially for Frankie Edgar. This is kind of the first time we've seen this, Joe.
Yeah, Edgar deciding to try to take a new approach here and maybe grind him out against the cage. Try to take some of the steam away from Aldo, a guy who, when he was physically larger, and this was one of the things that we speculated about Aldo being smaller for his last fight, when he was physically larger, like in some of the other fights like Ricardo Lamas, he's had a hard time in the 4th and 5th rounds maintaining that pace. He's a big featherweight.
11 of the last 12 fights for Edgar have been 5-round fights.
A lot of blood coming out of the nose of Frankie now, Mike.
3 minutes left here in the 3rd. Every fight since June 2009 for Aldo has been a 5-rounder.
Excellent exchange there. Frankie landed. Aldo landed.
Frankie's going to stay in your face. There's no question about that. Aldo awarded the first featherweight championship belt back in November of 2010. Defended the WEC version 2 times before 145 came to the octagon.
Frankie's just having a real hard time reaching Aldo. Aldo's just anticipating the movement better, sliding out of the way better, and doing something in this movement that Frankie's most recent opponents have not been able to do, is outmove him.
And avoid.
Oh, big right hand by Aldo. And also the threat of Aldo's punches. And Frankie just caught Aldo.
Outmove him, Joe, and avoid what we've seen, the great combinations over the years by Edgar, trying once again to tie Aldo up.
That was another big knee to the body by Aldo, Mike. And Frank working really hard here for this takedown. But Aldo's wrestling and his takedown defense have been on point tonight.
They break. One minute here in the third.
Well, so far, we're in the third. Nice right hand by Frankie. And Aldo's shown no signs of slowing down, no signs of fatigue. We'll see if that still holds true in the fourth and the fifth if we make it there.
He hasn't taken a lot of damage.
No, he certainly hasn't. I mean, the most effective shots that Frankie's been landing have been those leg kicks, and they don't seem to be bothering Aldo at all.
And we really haven't had any clinch game.
Very little. And Frankie's busted up. Yeah. You're looking at his face, you can see the effect of all those punches. Again, just popped him and then slid back and popped him again with a jab. Looking for that knee. Man, that timing on that knee is amazing.
Aldo just leans
there it
back,
is.
Throws that heavy leg kick.
There's the first one, and man, what impact.
Andre Pederneiras, UFC veteran.
Tá deixando o Jones ficar muito colado.
You're letting him get too
aqui.
close.
Banco, banco, o banco.
Where's the bench?
Me dá o banco. Senta aí.
Sit down.
Tá deixando ficar muito colado.
You're letting it get too
Não
close.
tem problema você se mexer.
It's not a problem if you move around. You're hurting him more. But when there's a minute or two
Você
left,
tem que pegar e chumbar o cara.
you have to go with all of you got.
Minutos tem que chumbar o cara todo.
You gotta
Não tem
go.
problema.
Listen, if you miss the shot, you're punching right away. You did it this round, and it paid dividends. So you miss the shot, you punch right away. Head outside on the shot. You know what I'm saying? Listen, if you miss the shot, you're punching right away. You did it this round, and it paid dividends. So you miss the shot, you punch right away. Head outside on the shot. You know what I'm saying?
There we see Edgar with a right hand over the top and a nice uppercut by Edgar. And boom, beautiful right hand by Aldo. The championship round.
1-4, gents, let's go. Once again for these two men. 11 of the last 12 fights, 5-rounders for Edgar. We mentioned how many 5-rounders in a row Jose Aldo has had. Aldo is 6-0 in 5-round fights that go the distance. His one loss inside the octagon was 13 seconds long. That said, Joe, Andre Pederneiras obviously wanted a little bit more certainty to the fact that Aldo was winning these rounds.
Yeah, I think he believes that Aldo's just faster, moves better, and it doesn't want Frankie getting that close. Frankie's been having a hard time landing anything substantial, Mike, and because of that, he hasn't really gotten Aldo's respect.
And Joe, I was going to ask you, is this starting to get frustrating for Frankie Edgar?
I mean, it must be, but Frankie's used to that. I mean, he's been in some wars.
Knows he's one or two great combinations away from a sudden momentum change. Just kind of fakes the shot, trying to get Aldo to open up. The blue coach is Frankie Edgar's corner.
He's pivoting on his son. Yeah. Toe, 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 toe. Sick, he's sick. Nice.
Matches leveled. Matches leveled.
Success. 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 Success.
Off the fence. Off the fence.
Mark Henry very vocal again. Striking coach for Frankie Edgar.
I don't know what he's yelling out, because they develop these names for things and codes for techniques, and he changes it all the time. It's one of the interesting things about Mark Henry's coaching. There's a nice left hook by Frankie. High kick.
Good pace throughout this entire matchup thus far.
Right hand by Aldo. And another. Good combination by Aldo. Aldo's putting some heat on these punches, Mike. Oh, both men exchange.
You see the damage on the face of Edgar. Aldo looks clean. Look at the numbers, head strikes. Aldo at about 50% efficient, and a lot of blood now coming from above the right eye of Frankie Edgar as he lands a right hand on Aldo's face.
And Aldo landed a right hand on him and then a left. Aldo's just looking to capitalize on the movement of Edgar and catch him coming in.
The most dominant champion at 145 in UFC history.
And this is as good as he's looked in a long time. He looks outstanding tonight.
Like you said, Joe, and he talked about it. When you have that invincibility go away and you got to go home and think about how do you rebuild, this might be the answer. Against the answer, Frankie Edgar.
Yeah, a loss like the Conor McGregor fight could have been the best thing for him. And you're looking at a really rejuvenated Jose Aldo here tonight. But for Frankie, he's still got some time. 20 left in this round and one more round to go. And he's got to make something dramatic happen. He got tagged there. He's running in, and Aldo's doing a great job of sliding back and catching him. Man, just barely missed with that knee.
I saw a quick facial expression of disappointment from Frankie Edgar when he couldn't land that last combination, Joe. Kind of what we were talking about. Extremely frustrating for the former lightweight champ.
Where's the bucket? Can I have the bucket? Vai lá, mestre.
Só dois. So let's take him out this round. You follow what I'm saying? 4 punches. I need to go, goes against. You follow what I'm saying, kid? Go, goes against. Finish off. He's going right down to the right hook to the body. Every time he keeps dipping to the 10, the right hook to the body. That's where he's going every time, dipping right there. You follow what I'm saying? And he's just countering with the overhand at the end. I want you to go.
You gotta go. Any punch that you land, he's out of it. Get him. Take a punch, but get him. If he walks backwards, shoot his legs. Kick his legs. Kick his legs.
Man, look at the intensity from Andre Pederneiras. UFC fans, let your voice be heard. Tell us who you think is winning each fight by following at UFC on Twitter. All it takes is one click to vote on how you're scoring the fight. See all of the results live. Find out how your vote stacks up. 5th and final round.
There's that kick.
That was a highly emotional Andre Pederneiras.
It certainly was, and this is a fight that Aldo's winning. It just shows you how important this is to them.
Don't leave it in the judge's hands. And Frankie has had some fantastic fifth-round finishes.
But again, we should point to Aldo's conditioning. He looks great and relaxed here in his fifth round. Doesn't look like he's slowing down at all.
And as we talked about, Joe, it's been a style of fight that has impressed his cardio like it would be if they were clinching and wrestling and working on the ground.
Nasty left hand there by Aldo. Good kick by Frankie.
There will be a certain sense of urgency from Frankie Edgar here in the fifth.
Oh, high kick by Aldo. The power he possesses. Makes every exchange different. Very dangerous when you're in there with Aldo.
12th time Edgar, scheduled for 5. He's gone the distance 7 times.
Aldo caught him with the left hand there.
Frankie 7-3-1 in fights that go 25 minutes. Jose Aldo 6-0. Just over 3 on the clock.
Oh, good right hand by Aldo again. But he is planting and bombing on that shot.
Deep in this championship fight. And officially, Joe, now Frankie Edgar is the first fighter in UFC history to log 6 hours of octagon time.
And he is a bloody mess right now, Mike. A lot of blood coming out of that right eye and his nose. And Aldo connected again.
Any questions about the psyche and mental state of Jose Aldo answered quite brightly here in this 5-round fight.
Yeah, he might have taken a little while to get loose, but he has looked sensational in this fight. Very relaxed. And again, this is against a very, very dangerous and skillful challenge in Frankie Edgar.
A Frankie Edgar who's been on a roll. A Frankie Edgar who hasn't lost since they first fought back in 2013.
Not only is he not lost, he hasn't lost many rounds.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the worst performance of the last few years for Frankie. And I don't even think you should say it that way. I think you should say it's one of the best performances of Jose Aldo's recent career.
It's the first time in a long time we haven't seen the offensive strategy of Frankie Edgar work.
Well, Aldo just carries so much more consequence with his shots. When he's dropping them in on Frankie, they are hurting. And Frankie's punches and his kicks are sort of just kind of reaching Aldo and landing, but they don't seem to have the same kind of impact.
1 minute remains in this fight. The champion, Conor McGregor, in the first row, watching very closely. Sold out. 19,000 in attendance. UFC 200. Looking for that knee late.
Yeah, I mean, it's very dangerous for Frankie to move in on this guy. He's doing such a good job of countering, and he is looking for those bombs, that knee to the body and to the face, and that right hand as well.
Spin and a miss. Aldo's looking for the knee. 15. Championship fight. And they go the distance. Aldo and Edgar fight the full 25 minutes once again. Fight replay brought to you by Bud Light. Raise one to right now.
This is an early shot by Frankie Edgar. There's a right uppercut by Edgar. And there's a glancing 1-2. There's a nice left hook by Aldo. He landed that punch many times in this fight. There's a right hand by Aldo and slides away from the counters. Some devastating knees to the body as well in this fight. Just an excellent performance by Aldo.
Don't forget, fans, you can get involved. Follow us on Twitter, click, and we can see that the fan voting is pretty unanimous. 77% believe that Jose Aldo will bring a belt back to Brazil, the interim championship at 145. Follow us at UFC on Twitter.
Great fight, brother. Thank you, bro. Excellent fight. Great fight, guys. No problem, Frankie. No problem. This fight, tough guy. No problem. Thank you, Joey. Thank you. Relax. 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 Come on. Relax.
Time for our official decision, brought to you by Metro PCS. For a piece of UFC 200 history, follow at Metro PCS and retweet to win authentic items straight from tonight's fights. Official rules at metropcs.com/UFC. Here's Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 5 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for decision. The judges score the contest 49-46, 49-46, and 48-47 for the winner by unanimous decision. And now, the UFC interim featherweight champion of the world, Jose Aldo Jr.
We have ourselves a Brazilian champion again. And there's the notorious one.
I'm here with the winner, Jose Aldo. First of all, sir, congratulations on an excellent performance, one of your best in recent years. How do you feel about this fight, and how does it feel to once again have a UFC belt around your waist?
Thank you. I'm very happy, but no fight to me today. For you, my coach. I love you, the guys. I love you, my coach. It's not for me. It's for him. It's for him.
Andre Pedneris, one of the best coaches in the world who's led you through your career. This was an excellent performance tonight against a guy in Frankie Edgar that had been on a long winning streak and had looked fantastic. You shut down his offense tonight. Was there anything surprising about this fight?
Foi uma grande performance hoje contra o cara que estava uma grande sequência de vitórias. Como é que você desligou ele hoje à noite?
O Frank é um grande adversário, é um cara que movimenta bastante, tem um wrestling muito bom. Eu respeito ele, respeito todo mundo. Mas eu só tenho um objetivo, é ser campeão novamente. É vencer esse merda. E pode ter certeza que a próxima vez que eu pegar ele aqui, ele vai ter a sorte que ele teve na última.
Frank's a great athlete. I respect everyone, but I have one goal, and it's to beat this guy. And you can bet the next time I come here, I will beat him.
Congratulations, sir, on an outstanding performance.
Brasil, galera, mais forte que o mundo, nunca desisti dos seus sonhos, foi para vocês. Muito obrigado, galera, valeu pela energia positiva a todo mundo. Eu lutei por ele, essa vitória é dele. Ele merece isso tudo, eu não fiz nada, ele fez tudo. Meu Dedé Peneira, esse aqui é meu pai. Perdi meu pai, mas ganhei um pai nessa vida agora. Tudo que eu faço agora é para ele. Ele falou que ia se aposentar, não se aposentou, manteve aqui com a gente. Então, só tenho que agradecer a ele, essa vitória é para ele. Tudo que aqui que eu ganhei hoje vai para ele merece.
Brazil, I'm stronger than the world. I lost my father, but I have a new father in him. I owe everything to this guy right here. He's next to me all the time.
Jose Aldo, ladies and gentlemen.
The leader of the Novo União team in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. And there you see Andre Pedneris, who fought at UFC 34. Aldo, the champion, and that lady remains the champion. Good fight last night against Claudia Gadelha, Joanna Jędrzejczyk, the UFC strawweight champion of the world. All right, these fighter rankings are sponsored by EA Sports UFC 2. Get up to 50% off of EA Sports UFC 2 for a limited time at select retailers in-store and online. Joe, we're taking a look ahead to UFC 201, Robbie Lawler, the champion, Tyron Woodley, the challenger.
An excellent fight between two teammates, actually. Tyron Woodley, who has been campaigning for a shot at the title for a long time, finally gets it. But man, what an incredible lineup the 170-pound division has now, with, of course, Wonder Boy Thompson looking absolutely spectacular in his last few fights. And who knows where Donald Cowboy Cerrone fits into that equation now as well.
Well, that'll be the next time we see you on pay-per-view. We will be in Atlanta, Georgia, where the UFC welterweight title will be on the line as the champion, Robbie Lawler, squares off against Tyron Woodley, and it's a scary matchup for the gold at 170 pounds. Ruthless Robbie Lawler debuted inside the octagon May of 2002. Won the title in his 14th UFC fight over 12 years later. Tonight, truly a history-making evening from the fight capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada. And while it's already been an epic night, UFC 200 is truly unstoppable, undeniable, and unforgettable. And the same could be said for the last 20 years of one of the fastest growing sports in the world.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. You are about to see something that you have never seen before.
There were no weight divisions, no gloves or pads, no time limits, and no scorecards. The rules were simple. 2 men enter, 1 man leaves.
Please welcome, by way of Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, Royce Gracie.
This is a major part of fighting. People do not understand it.
What we've learned tonight is fighting is not what we thought it was.
Shamrock wins the super fight, the fastest hands in UFC history.
That is the only time we've seen a high kick work in the UFC.
What we want to do is we want to make this the Super Bowl of mixed martial arts.
The fighters are the artists. This is the sport of the millennium, MMA.
I'm going to beat you into the living death.
If he's man enough to stand in the middle of this ring and strike with me, I'm going to knock him out, and he knows it.
So you want to be an ultimate fighter?
The brink of defeat, and he pulls it out. This is a different kind of striker. Oh!
I'm not impressed by your performance.
St. Pierre is the welterweight champion.
Can you see me now? Can you see me now?
We welcome you to UFC 100.
Anderson Silva, you absolutely suck.
He's tapping it.
Listen, I'm not a do-nothing bitch.
She's changing sports. She's changing culture.
We may be witnessing the greatest fight in UFC history.
We're not here just to take part. We're here to take over.
Listen, I'm not a do-nothing bitch.
She's changing sports. She's changing culture.
We may be witnessing the greatest fight in UFC history.
We're not here just to take part. We're here to take over.
Record-setting attendance. Wow.
What a night, ladies and gentlemen. What a night.
I'm not surprised.
Wow. That's pretty awesome. That was cool. Wow. I mean, just when you step back and you look at the history of the sport, first of all, there's never been a sport that has changed so radically from 1993 to 2016. I mean, it has evolved and emerged and grown in front of our eyes to become the premier combat sport in the world, and the ones which all other combat sports are defined. UFC has emerged as the most exciting thing you can watch in all of sports.
We have witnessed that ride from 2 men will enter the octagon, only 1 will leave. 2, a time in an era where the UFC embraced regulation and we are mainstream today. And as I said in the open of the show, this is one of the biggest events in sporting history.
It certainly is, and it's, as we said at the beginning of the show, this is a celebration for us.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a sport that was all but choked out when I first started working for it, when you do it as well. UFC 12, there was no pay-per-view on cable. You had to get it on satellite TV. It was the only way to get it. I mean, it was a bad time for the sport. The internet kept this sport alive. And until Zuffa came along and bought it and brought it into the mainstream, it was a sport that had a very real possibility of dying off. And I'm so thankful now. When I look back at all the fights that you and I have been privileged to call, and just watching this thing emerge, it has just been so satisfying and so rewarding.
From Ultimate Japan for me, Joe, till today, Randy Couture won the heavyweight title then, but be honest, you miss Bay St. Louis, Mississippi.
I don't. I'm going to be honest, I like shows in Vegas. But it was a great experience. All of them were great experiences.
It certainly was, partner, and this is the biggest show ever in Las Vegas. UFC 200, Tate versus Nunes, sponsored by Bud Light. Raise one to right now. This week's drama has been well documented, and the man it has directly affected the most is Daniel Cormier, who's gone from a main event title fight against his most bitter rival to a spectacular showcase against the greatest fighter of all time, Anderson Silva, who will fight on 48 hours' notice.
Good evening.
What's up, everybody? Good afternoon. The biggest, baddest fight card in UFC history, UFC 200.
What my story will be is a guy who was brought to his knees, and a guy who made things right, a guy who changed, got his life together, and became even more extraordinary.
Sobering truth is, his history dictates and determines that the same thing's gonna happen. This kid will not change. He will not change. He's the same guy, and he will continue to up.
The UFC organization was notified tonight that the U.S. Anti-Doping Agency has informed Jon Jones of a potential anti-doping policy violation, and therefore the fight has been removed from the fight card.
I really don't know exactly how to explain how I'm feeling right now. More than anything, just really disappointed. I'm just here to fight.
And a fight he will get. Anderson Silva answers the bell. Daniel Cormier happy to sign on the dotted line.
We've got to fight.
Anderson Silva stepping in for Jon Jones. That's an even bigger fight for me. I think it's more exciting. This is the most dominant fighter of all time.
Oh, goodness!
And it shows how much confidence he has in his ability that he's willing to step in on short notice and fight such a dangerous guy in Daniel Cormier.
I mean, I cannot even explain how happy I am about this fight. I know Anderson's gonna bring it, and I know I'm gonna bring it.
Eu tô fazendo o que eu gosto, que é uma coisa que eu amo fazer, lutar.
I get to compete against the GOAT. I get to go out there and try and impose my dominance on him.
Para as pessoas, eu não quero provar absolutamente nada. Eu quero me testar.
I've reshifted my focus. It is solely on Anderson Silva, and I am happy to be fighting him. Jon Jones is in the rearview mirror right now. I am moving forward.
Let me just say this. That man is the greatest of all time, about to enter the octagon for the 21st time. Let's let him walk in. Let's take in the atmosphere. Joe, the beautiful thing about Anderson Silva coming to fight Daniel Cormier on 48 hours notice is Anderson Silva is fighting tonight. And when everything settles down in the history of this sport is told, we will know one thing. There has never been anyone like that man right there.
Well, he certainly, as of right now, is the greatest fighter of all time. In my mind, at least, and in many other people's as well. At one time, the best fighter living, pound for pound, on earth. He has had ups and downs since then. What I like about him coming into this fight, first of all, that he was very confident and very relaxed taking it. He likes the fact that he doesn't have to cut weight. And he also likes the fact that taking this fight on short notice like this, he didn't have to do any media, no obligations. He was very relaxed, didn't have any pressure coming on him in this fight. And he believes that stylistically he matches up very well with Daniel Cormier, and at light heavyweight he has been spectacular in the 3 fights that we've seen him compete in that division.
3-0, defeating James Irvin in 1 minute and 1 second. And both of the men who helped to really put us on the map. Forrest Griffin, 3 minutes, 23 seconds. Stephen Bonner, 4 minutes and 40 seconds. And Joe, Crazy Bob Cook, Daniel Cormier's trainer, said to me yesterday, Anderson is faster, but without the training camp and the media, he said Anderson is going to be fresh. He said he felt that Cormier was faster than Jon Jones, but now Daniel Cormier faces a man in Anderson Silva, who Bob Cook said is faster than the light heavyweight champion. Anderson, the Spider Silva, the greatest champion in UFC history. How about the week this two-time Olympian has had? He was about to face off with his enemy, his arch-enemy, his most bitter rival for the undisputed light heavyweight championship. Then Dana White told him that Jon Jones was out. And he said immediately, no, Dana, I've worked so hard. I worked so hard. He wanted to fight. He was willing to fight Anderson Silva. He's here because this man is a true competitor.
It's a pretty crazy turn of events. I mean, obviously Daniel went through a gigantic camp and prepared with Kane and really wanted to fight. Feels like he's at his best right now and wants to compete. But what a difference in the opponents to go from Jon Jones to Anderson Silva on short notice like that. I mean, it's very rare that a guy finds himself in that sort of a situation as a professional fighter. 2 days notice, complete change of opponent, and now he's fighting one of the greatest, if not the greatest of all time.
Crazy Bob Cook told me that the weight cut, Joe, got emotional. And what I mean is that because the emotions were up and down, you know, what was a great game plan that was going perfectly started to go haywire a little bit. And so the cut was tougher. And DC had to overcome the roller coaster ride and now wants to peak against Anderson Silva. If anybody can do it, it's this man.
Well, he is an outstanding wrestler and has competed successfully at heavyweight, winning the Strikeforce Heavyweight Grand Prix. He's just an outstanding competitor. An excellent, excellent grappler, very good striker, and again, we really can't emphasize this enough. In going through his full camp with Cain Velasquez, we saw what phenomenal shape Cain is in. That is one of the secret weapons of Daniel Cormier's success, or I should say not so secret weapon.
Cormier, one of 14 Olympic competitors to grace the octagon, and he is the UFC light heavyweight champion of the world. Our tail of the tape for this light heavyweight fight. Daniel Cormier, 37 years old. Anderson Silva, 4 years his elder. Much taller and a significant reach advantage. Look at Anderson, no cut at all. 198.5. Once again, Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this fight is 3 rounds in the UFC light heavyweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a mixed martial artist holding professional record, 33 wins, 7 losses, 1 no contest. He stands 6 feet 2 inches tall, weighing in at 198 1/2 pounds. Fighting out of Curitiba, Brazil, presenting the former UFC middleweight champion, Anderson the Spider Silva! And now introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, a mixed martial artist holding a professional record, 17 wins, 1 loss. He stands 5 feet 11 inches tall, weighing in at 206 pounds. Fighting out of San Jose, California, presenting the former Strikeforce Heavyweight Grand Prix champion and the undisputed UFC Light Heavyweight champion, Daniel D.C. Cormier. And when the action begins, our referee in charge, John McCarthy.
Big John McCarthy, our referee. Daniel Cormier. Anderson Silva. Here we go! Tonight's Fight Clock brought to you by Bud Light. Raise one. So right now, the southpaw out of Curitiba, Brazil, the Spider. He's in the yellow trunks, the Brazilian colors, DC in the dark trunks.
Now, conventional wisdom would say that a guy like Anderson taking a fight like this on 2 days' notice is not in the kind of shape he's going to need to be to grind it out with Daniel Cormier for 5 rounds. If that is the case, he may look to try to close the show early.
Absolutely. And DC, Joe, knows that. He's going to try to get inside on Anderson early and embrace the ground. There it is. And he's got it. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt Anderson Silva does not want to carry Daniel Cormier's weight.
He definitely does not. Daniel is thick and powerful and has tremendous posture, and it's incredibly difficult to control him on the ground, especially when he's on top of you and fresh like this. Anderson trying to set up the right arm bar. Throwing those legs up. Eating some punches here on the ground with DC.
Anderson 3-0 at 205.
I should correct myself. This is a 3-round fight, not a 5-round fight. Even so, 2 days notice,
this, yeah.
3 rounds. Incredibly difficult for Anderson.
Of course, Anderson was supposed to fight in his hometown of Curitiba, Brazil, back in May. Right before he was going to get on a plane, ended up having his gallbladder removed.
He's getting stacked here by Daniel, and big punches are going to come. And Daniel can control his position here and get that right arm free. Anderson holding on to that right arm.
Silva's got a great ground game. He's got an excellent guard. It's going to be tested right here again.
He's utilizing it very well defensively here, but now DC has moved to half guard. Getting some good, solid ground and pound off here.
Getting those elbows to land. And again. Midway point of round number 1. DC on top, half guard. DC wants to stay busy here. He would rather not get stood up.
Well, Anderson's doing a good job of utilizing the lockdown on the right leg. See how he's elevating Daniel? It keeps Daniel from being able to put any real power into those shots. He's taking that leg out of play and taking that side.
Anderson won the belt in his second UFC fight. His reign as champion was nearly 7 years long.
Good ground and pound here by DC.
Anderson trying to avoid too much damage here early. All DC so far. Cormier's first 13 fights were at heavyweight. His record was 13-0 in those fights. John McCarthy telling Cormier, keep it going, move, keep the action going. Don't forget, following our pay-per-view, flip over to FS1 for the UFC 200 post-fight show. For our fans in Canada, flip over to TSN.
Anderson has done a pretty good job defensively up to this point. Daniel has gotten some shots in, but a lot of them have been partially blocked. And Anderson has done a good job of controlling his posture.
Cormier's got his hand over his mouth now, control the breathing.
Yes, and the big key to this position is really his utilization of the lockdown. But Daniel's gotten some posture here. He's up, he's gotten some space.
We've seen so many magnificent striking displays from these great Brazilians, but every single one of them, Joe, can fight on the ground. They all bring to the octagon that black belt in Jiu-Jitsu.
Daniel's crushing him here, just sort of pressuring him, making him carry his weight, but nothing particularly damaging so far in this first round.
Except perhaps the cardio of Anderson Silva. Corner Cam brought to you by Hudson Shipping, transporting innovation.
Relax. Relaxing with 3 big deep breaths. Good job. Very nice. Big deep breath on the down. Deep breath. Nice.
Can you do that up and down too? Fake like deep breaths, up and down.
Keep the face going on everything.
How do you feel? How do you feel?
Good. Like $1 million.
Yes, you do. Stay sharp.
Tenta mais no seu joelho. Sabe quando ele estiver vindo frontal?
Use your knees when he's coming in.
Não pode dar figo. Não pode fazer a mão na mão.
You can't try to exchange hands with him. Don't let him get too close.
Vira de frente pra mim aqui. Toma aqui. Frente pra mim, segura aqui. Pegou. Se move um pouco mais, tá bom? Se move um pouco mais.
Move a little bit more. Silva 5-0 in 3-round fights inside the octagon. Round 2. Oh my.
Goes high with the head kick. Oh, good right hand by DC.
Expect to see Anderson try to put on a show here, but not a show to be showy, but a show to finish the fight.
DC smiling at him here.
Anderson can come from anywhere. DC throws him down to the canvas and takes side control.
Beautiful grappling by DC. He's going to trap him here. He's looking to step over, but he got caught in half guard on the way.
Cormier has owned this fight. All about top position. Joey, you pointed out Anderson not taking a ton of damage, but he's unable to do anything offensively.
And he's carrying Daniel's weight.
Yep.
It's exhausting. And DC's looking to try to pass. Anderson's just holding on to him here. DC's got to get that right leg free. Every time Anderson elevates that leg, they throw DC's balance off, but Daniel's done a great job of maintaining top position. But Anderson, you know, every time he does that, you see that lockdown has been very effective here. And even though DC's still kind of beating him up, there's nothing particularly devastating going on.
Styles make fights. And this style that Daniel Cormier utilizes.
Anderson, if he keeps going along that way, and that's why Daniel just dropped those hammer fists on him, he has that underhook on that right side, and he was trying to keep sneaking around the side, and then Daniel became much more active when he realized he was in a bad position. Here it is again. If he can get that right leg free, it's a good position, but if he can't get that leg free, Anderson can keep sneaking around towards his left side. Now Daniel is concentrating on the Kimura.
The style that Cormier utilizes is bad for Anderson Silva, especially on short notice.
Yeah, and with Anderson getting this lockdown, there's two options. He can try to sneak around towards the left and sneak around towards the right. But the problem is Daniel's just a bigger, stronger, better grappler. And every time he goes to make a move, Daniel corrects and winds up on top. And he just is a mountain on you. You just can't shake him. And these are some hard, short elbows. And Anderson's trying to move, trying to go to the deep half, trying to sweep here.
This is a guy who, you know, a little over 2 days ago thought he was going to just be a fan of this monumental event. He's trying to hang in for the fans, for his country. And John McCarthy stands him up. Anderson is exhausted. It took him a while to stand up at the end of round one. Checked. Anderson cannot let himself be taken down again. And don't forget, Daniel Cormier's striking has improved exponentially over the years.
Good knee by Anderson.
Cormier ducks out of danger. Anderson with the left. Cormier misses. Here we go.
Good kick to the body by Anderson.
Careful what game you play with the Spider. Knowing Daniel Cormier as we do, Joe, I think there's a part of him that wants to show the world, I'll strike with Anderson Silva for a little while here.
Well, I could certainly see him wanting to test his skills, but that is the most dangerous game.
Exactly. Playing with fire for sure.
Head up, deep, breathe deep, okay? Hey, try with around? Yes. Now, listen to me. Be smart, okay? Now, listen, when you're in the guard and you're in a half guard, finish. Let's go to mount, okay? Let's focus on getting that three-quarter guard and all the way through.
Tá perfeito. O direto e o joelho. Throw the cross and the knee. And the front. Just move a little bit more. You're going to make history tonight.
Segura aqui. Solta o braço. Aqui, ó. Solta o braço.
It's a tough fight, but let's go. He's got nothing.
UFC 200, Tate versus Nunes. Sponsored by Bud Light. Raise one to right now. Sold out. T-Mobile Arena. Third and final round. For Anderson Silva, it's tied.
Beautiful technique by Anderson. He's gone to that a few times. The kick with the right and then leaping in the air and kicking with the left. Again, this is a dangerous game for Daniel Cormier. Oh, good right hand by Cormier. Anderson looking for that elbow.
Knee. DC again takes him down. Not only did Anderson take this fight on 48 hours notice, Cormier was training for a 5-round fight. And he's had top position. And really no back and forth clinch game to try to exhaust his gas tank.
Anderson keeps going to that lockdown on the right leg of Daniel Cormier, and it's made ground and pound much more difficult for Cormier. It's been good for him defensively, but not offensively. And Daniel's just kind of squashing his head here, keeping the weight on him, cutting off his breathing. But if the crowd keeps booing, Big John might stand him up.
And wrestlers know how to make heavy even heavier. And Daniel Cormier is great at smothering his opponents.
Yeah, his top game is excellent.
They keep adding up for Daniel Cormier. Nearly 130 total strikes to the body. DC trying to stay busy.
Well, if Anderson could just control his posture and grab a hold of him like right there, it's very possible that Big John would stand him up. He keeps saying, let's go, move it. I mean, all Anderson has to do is hang on here.
Big John's right there watching closely.
The audience is chanting, stand up.
Cormier throwing down consistent strikes now. All right, 2 minutes on the clock. 2 minutes, now less than 2, remain in this fight. Does the Spider have some magic left? Is there a kick up the middle coming? like against Vitor Belfort. Or a knee. Under 90 seconds now. Anderson is looking for that one opening. One minute remains.
Anderson's looking for that opening, but he's got to take some chances. I mean, he is clearly looking for one big shot here.
That might be the kick up the middle. We've seen it before. Chasing down Cormier. Swing and a miss by DC.
Good kick to the body. He hurt him
30
with that.
seconds.
Daniel's hurt.
Swarming him. Knee by Silva. 20 seconds. They go the distance.
Great job.
2 days notice for the greatest of all time. And that man is a real fighter. Both men should be applauded. Daniel Cormier says, I'll fight anybody, even though I was supposed to be the main event. Fight replay brought to you by Bud Light. Raise one to right now.
There we see a takedown attempt completed by Daniel Cormier. There's some ground and pound by Cormier. Pretty good job defensively by Anderson of avoiding really big shots. There's Silva trying to open up with some shots, but he gets taken down again. Really his best success was in the third. That front kick to the body. See it right there. DC tried not to react to it, but that hurt him.
Cormier and Silva. Nothing but respect. Time for our official decision. Brought to you by Metro PCS. And for a piece of UFC 200 history, follow @MetroPCS and retweet to win authentic items straight from tonight's fights. Official rules at metropcs.com/UFC. Here is Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for decision. All 3 judges score this contest 30-26 for the winner by unanimous decision, Daniel DC Cormier.
I'm here with the winner, Daniel Cormier. First of all, DC, congratulations. This was a very difficult fight for you to take on such short notice. Give us your thoughts on the fight and how it went down.
The fight went how it had to go. Joe, I've been training for a specific guy for 8 weeks. The guy gets out of the competition. I fight Anderson Silva. I was a little nervous. He's so good. And I mean, I did what I had to do. You know, it's very difficult to switch opponents 2 days, but Anderson did a good job of staying in there.
Was there anything surprising about fighting him?
He did a very good job of locking down my leg on my back. It was hard for me to advance the position, but that goes to show you, man, this guy's the greatest fighter we've ever seen in the octagon. I can't complain. I did what I had to do.
How difficult was this for you psychologically to take this on short notice, and where was your mind when you found out that Jon Jones fell out of the competition?
I was sad. I've worked hard to fight Jones. I try to erase that loss. But most guys would not take this fight. They wouldn't do it, but I felt I needed to. Mentally it was draining. Everything was tough.
Congrats. Look forward to seeing you again. Daniel Cormier, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here with Anderson Silva, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, Anderson, enjoy that, sir, because you've deserved it. What was it like taking this fight with such a great fighter like Daniel Cormier on such short notice?
Como é que foi aceitar essa luta com um grande lutador como ele em tão pouco tempo?
Então, para mim foi um grande desafio pessoal aceitar essa luta, porque eu consegui colocar em prática o que eu desenvolvi durante todos esses anos e se bem que eu tô há muito tempo sem treinar, desde a minha cirurgia eu não treinei absolutamente nada, mas valeu o desafio pessoal para mim, espero que isso sirva de exemplo para todos os brasileiros e para todos que estão aqui hoje. Vocês podem tudo que vocês quiserem, desde que vocês tenham bem no coração. É isso.
This fight was a big personal challenge for me to be able to accept it and to be able to come in here and put it to practice, everything that I've done throughout the years. You know, this is a proof that you can do anything that you want to, anything you put your mindset to.
Anderson, it's very difficult to fight a guy as big as Daniel Cormier. You're used to fighting at middleweight. Give us your thoughts on how the fight went down and was there anything surprising about it?
É difícil lutar contra o cara que é mais pesado, você está acostumado com peso médio. O que você achou da luta?
Eu tô acostumado a treinar com os caras muito pesados, né? O meu mestre, o Minotauro. Obrigado, mestre. O Rogério Minotouro, Rafael Feijão, Jacaré, o próximo campeão aqui, galera, o Jacaré, não esqueçam disso. E é isso. Eu tô acostumado a treinar, tô acostumado com esse tipo de pressão, com um cara mais pesado. Eu senti um pouco que eu tô sem treinar, sem absolutamente nada, sem treinar meu cardio, sem nada, mas foi bom, o teste foi bom, acho que toda a minha equipe, durante toda a minha trajetória até aqui, todos estão de parabéns. Dedico essa vitória a todos eles, porque para mim foi uma vitória, poder colocar em prática tudo que eu treinei, e é isso. O Daniel é o campeão, eu vim aqui para lutar com ele, mas não desrespeitá-lo, mas sim para me colocar a teste, colocar à prova tudo que eu sei, tudo que eu aprendi dentro da arte marcial.
Try your best to remember all that.
I'm used to training with heavier guys, my master Minotauro, Rogério Minotoro, Rafael Feijão, Jacaré, who's the next champion here. So I'm used to this, I'm used to the pressure. This was a great test, and I have to put this fight as for my teammates, everyone that's always been helping me. I really wasn't able to train my best for this. I haven't been really training since the surgery, but it was a good test.
Thank you, Anderson, and thank you for taking this fight on short notice.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for everything. Thank you. This is great time for me. I respect you people. Thank you.
Anderson Silva, ladies and gentlemen.
Mid-May, he had his gallbladder removed. 2 days' notice, he just fought Daniel Cormier. That man, the greatest of all time, Anderson the Spider Silva. How about this guy? He is on a roll. Cowboy at 170 is magic. And this guy is pure destruction. And he's going to defend his belt in his hometown of Cleveland, Ohio. Earlier this week, the WWE made a major announcement. Brock Lesnar's next opponent will be Randy Orton at SummerSlam on Sunday, August 21st. Let's take a look.
The most decorated combat athlete of all time. The Apex Predator is on the hunt. Oh my Lord! This is gonna be one hell of a fight. Here we go!
WWE SummerSlam, Sunday, August 21st at the Barclays Center.
That athlete of all time. The Apex Predator is on the hunt. Oh my Lord! This is gonna be one hell of a fight. Here we go!
WWE SummerSlam, Sunday, August 21st at the Barclays Center.
I mean, it feels great to be back. I wanted to be back because I wanted to be back in the octagon again.
Can I take the best that he's got I think so. I think the question is, can he take what I got?
He can say what he wants because tonight's a bad night for Mark Hunt, a good night for Brock Lesnar.
This is going to be one of the biggest fights of my career because, you know, the whole world is going to be watching this. What the world is going to see is me knocking Brock out.
I'm not afraid of Mark Hunt. I'm not afraid of getting hit by Mark Hunt. You know, I headlined UFC 100, and now here I am at 200, and it's big.
UFC 100, 2 days shy of 7 years ago, Brock Lesnar defended his heavyweight championship. Tonight, he returns to the octagon for the first time in 4.5 years to take on the Super Samoan, Mark Hunt, coming up back-to-back first-round knockouts. So up next, Brock Lesnar and Mark Hunt. Still to come, our main event, Miesha Tate and Amanda Nunes for the belt. But first, here's a special message from UFC Hall of Famer Chuck the Iceman Liddell.
Before you watch the return of former UFC heavyweight champion Brock Lesnar as he battles veteran knockout artist Mark Hunt, check out this clip of former WWE World Heavyweight Champion welcoming us to Suplex City as a cover athlete for WWE 2K17.
You are cordially invited to the most dangerous place on earth. Courtesy of the Night Mayor of Suplex City. So be like The Undertaker, be like John Cena, be like Seth Rollins, be like Goldberg. Find out what it's like to be victimized in Suplex City.
Product not yet rated.
That fight coming up next. And August 20th, UFC 202 is fast approaching, and the anticipation continues to build. On Thursday, the UFC 202 press conference kicked off the conversation for the rematch fans are waiting to see. And the stare down between Conor McGregor and Nate Diaz showed no love is lost between these two men. And that this rivalry is real. And right now, Joe Rogan is standing with one half of the main event, Nate Diaz.
All right, I'm here with Nate Diaz. Nate, you were supposed to be here. You're supposed to be fighting Conor here at UFC 200. It didn't work out. Give us your thoughts on that and what it feels to be here for this show.
It pulled me out of camp. I was supposed to be here, but we're out of camp now. Watching UFC 200, it's all good either way. We're doing August 20th and 202, so that's what's happening.
Now, August 20th for UFC 202, you are going to have a full camp. You beat Conor McGregor last time with 11 days notice. What are your thoughts on the difference between being able to compete with him on a full camp?
It's always better to prepare for a fight and somebody than not, so we're going to have to see what happens. Like I said, August 20th, I'm going to get ready to fight this little guy who's going to try to come out here and take me out. So I'm going out there, same thing, kill or be killed, just like the last time.
Now, one of the big weapons in Conor's arsenal has always been trash talking. That trash talking doesn't really work that well after you just strangled him. What has that been like, and what has the difference been like in having these press conferences with him now after you've beaten him?
Yeah, there's not much to say anymore, you know, like the fight happened and what happened, and I hear him at the press conference after. I couldn't hear at the time, but I watched it, and he's taking his little pokes and little jabs and his shit to say. But there ain't nothing to say, you know, like, and the reality of it, in times of war, like, he ain't even alive. I own all this shit, and like now this conversation wouldn't even be happening, the reality of it. So it's whatever. He can say what he wants. There's not shit to say. We're going to fight. We're going to go to war again. My boy Chris Avila, he's fighting his partner too. Now I got the team versus team. We're going straight, getting ready for war. So that's what it's about, and that's what's going to happen. Kill or be killed, and that's what we're coming for.
I can't wait to see it. Good luck to you, sir. UFC 202, the rematch. Conor McGregor and Nate Diaz.
Season 5 Ultimate Fighter. That kid is a battler, a great competitor. It is 6 weeks away. Nate Diaz, Conor McGregor. Rumble and Glover Teixeira, Maya Condit, Story, and Cerrone. Tickets go on sale this Friday, July 15th. Head over to UFC.com for more information. All right, the time has come. Mark Hunt, 2001 K1 World Grand Prix champion, fighting the real Brock Lesnar, who is back to cement his true legacy.
How long have I been thinking about coming back to the UFC? Ever since the day I stepped out of the octagon when I retired the first time. I was the UFC heavyweight champion of the world. Due to my illness, my career got cut short. At the top of my career, I wasn't at the top of my game. In my mind and in my heart, I never lost to a foe. I lost to the diverticulitis. I felt like I was cheated out of my career in the UFC. That chapter of my life, I didn't like the way the chapter ended, and I kept flipping back instead of moving forward. I couldn't live with that decision. I picked up the phone, I called Dana White and said, listen, if there was any time for Brock Lesnar to come back, it would just make sense that it would be for UFC 200.
Brock Lesnar is back.
Size, strength, speed, power. Brock Lesnar is a legitimate freak athlete. This is a guy who stopped Randy Couture for the title in his 4th pro fight.
Heavyweight title on the line. Couture is down. Lesnar is trying to finish. And it's all over.
I feel like Brock Lesnar has a second lease on life as an MMA fighter. And I want to see what this freak athlete is really capable of. And I think Mark Hunt is the absolutely perfect welcome back party for Brock Lesnar.
I understand that to become the elite of the elites, you've got to take chances on this. So July 9th, I'm knocking Brock Lesnar's face off.
Mark Hunt is one of the greatest strikers to ever compete in the heavyweight division. Mark Hunt is a top 10 heavyweight contender, a guy who has beaten some of the best fighters in the world, and a guy who has absolutely legitimate one-punch knockout power.
The profile of this fighter is huge. This is going to be a fight. You know, the better person will stand up victorious. Tune in to see Brock, but you'll be saying my name after the fight.
He's going to try to knock me out. I'm going to try to take him down. It's fighting, people. I don't have to sit here and build this fight.
I'm still the toughest SOB around, baby. Woo! Can you see me now? Can you see me now?
The Super Samoan, Mark Hunt, the second oldest active fighter on the UFC roster. Dan Henderson, 45, Mark Hunt, 42 years strong. Coming off a performance of the night against Frank Mir. 3 minutes, 1 second, that's all it took. Knockout, first round. 3 minutes, 41 seconds. Knockout, first round in Melbourne, Australia against Bigfoot.
Yeah, 2 first-round knockouts in a row. And Mark Hunt, also in those fights, was in excellent shape. And, you know, he kind of rededicated himself after the Stipe Miocic loss. Just didn't feel like he was in the kind of condition they need to be. Did some work down at AKA Thailand in preparation. And when you talk about heavyweight strikers, this is one of the first guys that you mentioned. Former K1 Grand Prix champion, legitimate one-punch knockout artist with very good takedown defense, and that makes for a very interesting opponent for Brock Lesnar's return.
Mark Hunt stepping into our Bud Light prep point. Bud Light, raise one to right now. Born in New Zealand, he has lived in Sydney, Australia for many, many years. The bright lights never bother Mark Hunt. He won his Grand Prix title in K1 in front of 65,000 fans. Tonight, 19,000 in attendance, sold out. T-Mobile Arena, this state-of-the-art facility in Las Vegas. The Super Samoan, Mark Hunt. That man is the ultimate alpha male. And if you're wondering about the Canadian flag, he has built himself, Joe, a virtual compound in the province of Saskatchewan. And he comes in looking in the best shape of his life. The 15th UFC heavyweight champion, Brock Lesnar.
That's what you think of when you think of a UFC heavyweight champion. You think they would look like that. But nobody looks like that. That's the craziest thing about Brock. I'm very, very curious about his performance tonight. Very interested to see this. Because physically, he looks outstanding. I know he went through a great training camp for this. I know this is something he's been preparing for quietly for a long time. He looks calm and in place tonight.
5 times Brock Lesnar fought in the main event of the evening. Defended his heavyweight title on 2 occasions, but the last time we saw Brock was at UFC 141. 4 years, 6 months, 9 days ago. Brock is back. Our tale of the tape for this, our co-main event of the evening. 38-year-old Brock Lesnar, 42-year-old Mark Hunt. Brock is much bigger, 6'3" to 5'10", and a 9-inch reach advantage. Brock, Mark, Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this fight is 3 rounds in the UFC heavyweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a striker holding a professional record, 12 wins, 10 losses, 1 draw. He stands 5 feet 10 inches tall, weighing in at 264 1/2 pounds. Fighting out of Sydney, Australia, presenting the number 8 ranked heavyweight contender in the world, Mark Super Samoan Hunt! And now introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, a wrestler holding a professional record, 5 wins, 3 losses. He stands 63 inches tall, weighing in at 265 1/2 pounds. Fighting out of Regina, Saskatchewan, Canada, presenting the former UFC heavyweight champion, Brock Lesnar! And when the action begins, our referee in charge, Dan Mergliata.
Dan Mergliata, our referee. the number of combined pounds in the octagon for Lesnar versus Hunt, 530, and that does not count Dan Miragliotta.
Yeah, Big Dan's no lightweight himself.
Not at all.
And you're going to need someone that big to get these guys off of each other.
Lesnar Hunt, here we go. Fight Club, brought to you by Bud Light. Raise one to right now. Mark Hunt said, Joe, if he can't get me down in the first round, he's getting knocked out. Brock showing southpaw for a moment.
Brock staying on the outside, staying cautious.
Custom gloves for Brock, triple XL.
He's looking for that opportunity for the takedown. Got to look out for the knees, got to look out for that counter uppercut.
And Hunt kind of scooching down a little bit, Joe, anticipating a possible takedown, a possible shot from the national champion from the University of Minnesota. 106-5 in his collegiate wrestling career.
So far, very cautious approach by both men. Look at that, leg kick by Brock.
And justifiably so, Joe. Somebody's getting knocked out.
Well, one thing about Brock throwing leg kicks is he doesn't have to worry about being taken down.
Yeah.
Or not as much. Whoa, swing and a miss.
If you listen to the many interviews that Brock did in the last couple of weeks coming up to this event, you know, he really did tell not just like a competition story, more of a life story and why he returned. And I love listening to him talk about the legacy that he wants to leave inside the octagon.
This is a dangerous game he's playing.
Yeah.
Because he's playing the timing game with Mark. And the more time goes on, here's a single. He's got the leg.
Chasing him down.
He got a hold of him.
Mark Hunt holding the fence. Great job by Dan Miragliotta.
Brock's got a hold of those legs.
You see how quickly he went across the octagon. This is how he finished Frank Mir. Hunt's starting to get up though.
But if Brock can just control you, the amount of power that he can generate in short distances. Good takedown defense so far though.
This is Brock's world.
But again, Mark Hunt has very good takedown defense, and if he can slow Brock down, keep this kind of fight going on. And also, we have to factor in the amount of adrenaline dump that Brock is going to be experiencing. Hasn't fought in 5 years. It's a big event for him. Mark Hunt's been very, very active.
And he's always calm, Joe.
He's lifting him up, and he's got him down. On top of him, inside control.
With a lot of time. Bad spot for Mark Hunt.
Terrible.
That was one big dude.
And he has submission skills.
Arm triangle choke against Shane Carwin back at UFC 116. You want to talk about carrying your opponent's weight. This redefines that expression.
It does, and Brock is just outstanding at riding guys too and being able to make them carry his weight. Very difficult to shake him off once he's on top of you. But all Hunt has to do here is survive the next minute.
Which is a very difficult task with those mailbox-sized hands coming at your head. The knee.
Good knee to the body by Lesnar.
Brock looking for it again.
Hard shots by Lesnar.
And from the other side, Hunt's in big trouble.
He's a big boss.
Looking for the finish right here.
And Hunt scrambles back up to his feet.
And he's up. And Lesnar looks for another takedown immediately. And he gets it.
He gets it. Right into full mount.
20 seconds. Ladies and gentlemen, we are in Brock's world.
Mark Hunt's going to hang on here. The round's almost over. Big round for Brock Lesnar. Here we see a big takedown for Brock Lesnar. Here's some nasty ground and pound that forced a scramble out of Mark Hunt. He was eating some bombs here.
All right, you're keeping them guessing. So I want you to look like you're going to fake the shot and then jab. All right, fake the shot and jab. Just move like you're moving. Force him to come to you, hit the leg again. All right?
The best from the
you're
state of
doing
Minnesota.
Move exactly like you're moving. All right?
You're just riding when you're wrestling.
That's
turkey in, ankle ride.
Breathe. Good breath. This is all you now. Just like that, this next round, all right? He's going to try to come out with something big. Be ready, okay? Be ready for something big.
Beware of the knee. If Brock looks for that shot again, Joe, looks for the double, look for a knee, a well-timed knee potentially from Hunt.
Mark Hunt is going to look to launch a bomb on Brock Lesnar here, especially if he can somehow or another coax Brock into standing still.
And it might be that big overhand right.
Or the uppercut, or anything, depending upon how he feels Brock is going to look to launch a bomb on Brock Lesnar here, especially if he can somehow or another coax Brock into standing still.
And it might be that big overhand right.
Or the uppercut, or anything, depending upon how he feels Brock is moving.
Lesnar trying to use that jab to keep distance, and there's the overhand right, and Brock had it. Saw it coming, had it blocked. (15-1), significant strikes.
Cross your fingers.
Talk about global icons, Brock Lesnar.
Well, what's interesting is Brock Lesnar doesn't need the money, he doesn't need the fame. I mean, he's doing this to test himself, and he's doing this because he doesn't feel like he gave it his all during his first tenure.
And Joe, it was because he got sick.
Yes, exactly. So he feels like he was cheated.
Yeah.
He feels like something was taken away from him, and he never realized his full potential.
There was no quit in him. His health quit on him for a while. Lost 40 pounds at one point with the diverticulitis.
He's got to be real careful as he's moving back. He's moving back slowly, and Mark Hunt can time it. If he senses that Brock is slowing down.
Nice sprawl.
Very nice. And this is where it gets good for Mark Hunt. If he senses that Brock is slowing down, or that he's not moving away quick enough, he's being lazy about his exits, Hunt can explode and catch him. And if Brock can't get Hunt down, and Hunt starts getting comfortable with these exchanges, then things can get really ugly.
Well, we're at the midway point of the fight. Hunt has been on his feet this entire round, but he hasn't really landed anything.
But he certainly is threatening.
Yes. Lesnar began training MMA at age 28.
He ducked under, he got the single, but Hunt got right out of it.
Lesnar, only the second fighter in UFC history to win a title in his fourth professional fight. The other, the Hall of Famer Randy Couture, who Brock beat at UFC 91.
See, this is just not the game that Brock Lesnar wants to play. He does not want to play the be on the outside game, especially like right there. He looked a little tired, looked a little flat-footed, taking some big deep breaths, feeling fatigued, and Hunt is calm, and relaxed and moving forward. Hits him with a small left hook to the body.
That win at UFC 91 was the night that Lesnar became the UFC heavyweight champion. This is great for recovery for Mark Hunt. That's one thing for certain. And he got up pretty quick after the end of round one, after carrying Brock for most of that first 5 minutes.
Brock is extending his hand. It's not a punch. He's like palming him on the forehead. Might have hurt his hand. I mean, the way he's doing that.
Yeah.
He just threw a jab there.
With those big hammer punches and the hammer fists on the ground and pound, Joe.
He ducked under that. He's looking for the single here. Brock hanging on here. Very uneventful round. So really anything here big in the last 20 seconds could win this round conceivably.
15 now. Lesnar won his collegiate national championship 16 years ago. Dominant round one. Anybody's round two.
Okay, breathe. First thing I want you to do is breathe. Okay, breathe. Hey. Now, hey, trust your hands a little bit, all right? Jab, jab, cross, and then fake that shot. He's waiting for you to try to shoot, but try to walk him into the cage, all right? Try to walk him into the cage.
Too wet from here on down.
Yep.
Right. When you get in there, then reshoot with your hips. Bring your head and your hips up. Reshoot. Come up higher on the side. Take down over the side. Head him right around. Right.
Good breath now. Big breath. Big breath. Good.
That's what you want. 5 more minutes of what you want.
Yeah. So you do the work. All right. You got it.
Don't forget our next stop on pay-per-view, Atlanta, Georgia, UFC 201. Robbie Lawler, Tyron Woodley for the welterweight belt, our main event. Tickets available at Ticketmaster.com. Basically what Dan Murgliata said was, fight or I'll take a point away. Bring it, boys.
Well, he's cautioning Brock and he's extending his fingers. And Mark Hunt, I believe in grabbing the cage.
Yes, for sure, because he did it twice in round one. And Dan literally knocked his hand off the cage the first time, Joe.
See, this is the game that Brock doesn't want to play. Standing right in front of Mark, and Mark is going to come at him with punches that he doesn't see coming. And there's a shot. He's got the single. Can he complete it? Tremendous amount of energy he's exerting here. And he gets it.
Fourth takedown for the former champion.
He's in mount.
He's in a great position here to finish the fight. Can Mark Hunt get up?
This is a terrible place for Mark Hunt right now.
Yeah.
And this also allows Brock time to rest, control the position.
Big punches from Brock. Good defense by Mark Hunt, but Lesnar is still scoring, Joe.
Yeah, and Brock's not even trying to pass. He's holding on to that left leg of Mark Hunt, sort of clamping down on it and using it to hold the position. He's got his legs crossed over Mark's leg. There's nothing holding him here in this position other than his choice.
Trying to get back to the full mount. In a great position of control. All right, half guard.
It looked like Dan was about to step him up.
Yeah. Or Mark Hunt might have been, at least Dan thought, might have been reaching towards that fence.
And again, Brock is holding on to that leg, Mike. It's not really like he's in half guard because Hunt's legs are completely wide open.
Hunt defending himself so far. Midway point of the third and final round.
Arm triangle. Now he's in full mount.
Don't forget, fans, we want to hear what you think. Vote by following us at UFC on Twitter.
Full mount with plenty of time to go. And Brock keeps looking for that arm triangle. He's looking for it on the left side. Oh, man. Big ground and pound from Brock. Oh. Oh, these are hard shots, Mike.
It's one tough Samoan right there. Lesnar pouring it on. Is Mark Hunt intelligently defending himself?
He's just getting the left side of his head punched in right now. And Brock's kind of holding his head in place. There's not much he can do there.
Under 90 seconds remain, all Lesnar.
And again, Brock keeps trying to push that arm to the side of his neck to secure an arm triangle or a head and arm choke.
Big punches.
And he's beating him up as he's doing this.
Doesn't take much when you're Lesnar. Miragliotta might stop the fight.
Less than a minute to go here.
Pretty much the only question now, Joe, is will he win with a finish or with a decision? Certainly trying for the finish. Utilizing the Turk that the wrestlers like. Body, body, head, as Cormier is saying. There it is. 20. Huge round 3 for the former heavyweight champion. And he wants to finish in style. With Brock Lesnar. Fight replay brought to you by Bud Light. Raise one to right now.
The most eventful moments in the fight were here. The takedown, the ground and pound. And, you know, we got to see the strong wrestling of Brock Lesnar and the toughness of Mark Hunt. But what it looks like to me and you, a decision for Brock Lesnar, and a pretty impressive victory when you consider the fact that the guy hasn't fought in 5 years, been doing pro wrestling, comes back and beats a top 10 heavyweight.
Big sense of relief, I am sure, as well, for someone as visible as Brock Lesnar. Because he was in there against one of the greatest knockout artists in combat history. A healthy Brock Lesnar fighting tonight at UFC 200. Time for our official decision, brought to you by Metro PCS. For a piece of UFC 200 history, follow at Metro PCS and retweet to win authentic items straight from tonight's fights. Official rules at metropcs.com/UFC. Once again, here's Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for a decision. All 3 judges score this contest 29-27 for the winner by unanimous decision, Brock Lesnar.
I'm here with the winner, Brock Lesnar. Brock, first of all, what does it feel like to be back? And what did it feel like to beat a top 10 heavyweight after all these years off?
Oh, man. It took me a little while just to get acclimated. I can't, words can't describe it. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much.
Brock, this is something that you've been thinking about for so long, working towards for so long. Where is your mind at now after beating a guy like Mark Hunt, who is a big heavyweight contender? You're right in the mix with one fight.
Man, one day at a time. I'm so happy to be in here. One thing I do want to do, America, a shout out to the men in uniform that protect and serve this country. From sea to shining sea, from one white boy to all nationalities. We got to stand together, people.
Brock, congratulations and welcome back, sir. Brock Lesnar, ladies and gentlemen.
That's a different Brock. Way different Brock. Told Joe, one day at a time. One day at a time. But this is a great day. His wife, Silva. What a moment for Brock Lesnar. And as I mentioned, a sense of relief. For one of the most dangerous individuals we have ever seen. Look at that man. Warren Gracie next to Wilmer Valderrama. If not for that man, we would not be here today. EA Sports UFC 2 delivers this look ahead to our Bantamweight Championship fight. Game Informer calls it an adrenaline rush. Get up to 50% off EA Sports UFC 2 at select retailers in-store and online. Miesha Tate has gone from living in an RV outside of the gym where she trained to UFC champion. Amanda Nunes has traveled from Bahia, Brazil to American Top Team. And tonight, she can become Brazil's first female champion.
Jiu-jitsu, kickboxing.
But before we watch Miesha Tate defend her belt against Amanda Nunes, check out this preview of Kingdom only on the Audience Network.
I don't think you're ready. I'm gonna win this fight.
Did it ever occur to you that maybe what I needed was you?
I'm having a hard time controlling myself. The therapist tried to rape Mom.
I can't believe you're a fighter.
I don't like fighting my friends.
Everybody's looking at me for something, like I'm supposed to supervise their lives.
And here tonight, King Creator, Byron Velasco, and the stars of the show, Matt Loria, Jonathan Tucker, and Natalie Martinez. They are having a great time here at UFC 200. And in just 3 weeks, when the UFC returns to Phillips Arena in Atlanta, Georgia, the wait will finally be over for the chosen one. And here tonight, King Creator, Byron Velasco, and the stars of the show, Matt Loria, Jonathan Tucker, and Natalie Martinez. They are having a great time here at UFC 200. And in just 3 weeks, when the UFC returns to Phillips Arena in Atlanta, Georgia, the wait will finally be over for the chosen one, Tyron Woodley, when he fights for the undisputed UFC Welterweight Championship against ruthless Robbie Lawler.
I showed everyone I'm a true fighter. I come to fight. No matter what happens, I keep coming, and I'm trying to knock people out.
Robbie Lawler is one of the most exciting champions in the history of the sport. He is a blood and guts brawler who gives everything he has inside that octagon. What went through your mind at that moment?
That was accumulation of a beatdown. That wasn't one punch. That was years of fighting right there. Coming to fruition. I'm the champ. I'm here to stay.
If you look at his fight with Johnny Hendricks, when the last bell rings and he's still chomping at the bit, when the last 5 minutes with Carlos Condit.
5 seconds of this fight. Oh my God!
He mounted an all-out assault with every last drop of energy that he had in his body. That is the kind of champion that Robbie Lawler is. Robbie Lawler versus Tyron Woodley for the UFC's welterweight title is an excellent fight between two guys who know each other very well.
Styles makes fight, and I think my style matches up well with any welterweight in the world, and I'm willing to prove it.
Tyron Woodley's world title shot is a long time coming. He has ridiculous speed and power, outstanding wrestling, and brutal striking ability. You're looking at a real freak athlete.
I fought the toughest guy in the weight class, in my opinion, and I went out there and I finished him, and it's time for my season to reign.
This fight is one of the best matchups in the UFC's 170-pound division. A dangerous fight for the champion, and most certainly a dangerous fight for the challenger.
I keep fighting. If people get in my face, I'm gonna knock you out.
Master.com when we go back to Atlanta, Georgia. What a night, monumental evening, and that means the biggest stars in the world are here. Late JT, Justin Timberlake, and Tom Brady in attendance here at the sold-out T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. We're now set for our main event of the evening, sponsored by Bud Light. Brings one to right now. 5 rounds of fighting for the UFC Bantamweight Championship as Miesha Tate fights Amanda Nunes. And these Bantamweight rankings are sponsored by EA Sports UFC 2. Get up to 50% off EA Sports UFC 2 for a limited time at select retailers in-store and online.
Miesha Tate, of course, is the champion right now with Holly Holm as the #1 contender. Amanda Nunes is the dark horse in the division. She is very dangerous. She has all kinds of power, and she also has a very good Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu ground game. Now, obviously, we're looking at those ratings, and they don't reflect the Juliana Pena, Kat Zingano fight that we saw earlier today. So the whole division is in an excellent place right now with really high-level competition in the women's 135-pound division.
Miesha Tate, since her title fight versus Ronda Rousey, has won 5 straight, including her win over Holly Holm to become the champion. But tonight she takes on an aggressive Brazilian, confident that she will leave Las Vegas with the UFC Bantamweight belt. But that champion, Miesha Tate, a pioneer in women's mixed martial arts, whose perseverance in that title-winning fight against Holly Holm was just a microcosm of her entire fighting career. Miesha Tate, 17 career wins. Holly Holm, a perfect 10-0.
Miesha can get this to the ground. Things can get very interesting.
Miesha Tate in the Holly Holm fight came in with an unbelievable game plan. She got the neck in the second round, took her back, started to put the choke in, and lost it. When she got the choke in the 5th round, she didn't let go.
When the chips are down, when all is on the line, Miesha Tate delivered.
Miesha looking to lock it in.
I thought it had to be like a pit bull on a bone. She wasn't getting out of that one.
Wow! Miesha Tate!
She put her to sleep.
Miesha Tate is dominated. She's the #1 female badass out there. Miesha will go in and she will fight to the finish. She is the most dangerous woman in the world other than Ronda Rousey.
Miesha Tate is the undisputed women's bantamweight champion of the world. And now she will have the opportunity to defend her title against one of the most dangerous female bantamweight fighters on earth. Amanda Nunes has some serious power.
Amanda Nunes looks better every time she fights. Her stand-up, her groundwork.
Nunes is a beast.
Nunes has done it!
I have all the tools to beat you, Miesha.
I'm really excited about this fight because Amanda Nunes truly does believe she can beat Miesha Tate and become champion.
Nobody think I can beat Miesha, but I'm gonna prove everybody is wrong.
Amanda is just another faceless woman that's standing in front of another goal of mine, and I have everything that I need to beat her already.
I think Miesha Tate is a great champion. She can take a lot of damage and still move on in the fight.
yeah, I can take damage and I can come back for you and still beat you. I think this fight's going to boil down to pure willpower and determination, and she can be broken, and I think I'm the woman to break her.
Ronda have her time, Holly have her time, Miesha have her time. I think now is my time, and I'm going to take the belt.
In my mind, I still have a lot to accomplish. This fight is going to prove, again, why I am the champion and why I'm the best in the world.
Born in Bahia, Brazil, the Lioness, Amanda Nunes. She moved to American Top Team after her fight with Kat Zingano at UFC 178. The only loss she has experienced in the octagon. A black belt in jiu-jitsu, a brown belt in judo, and a fantastic finisher. Her first 4 UFC wins were by first round stoppage. Joe, she is vicious, and she certainly is good with the moniker of Lioness as Amanda Nunes, the challenger, steps into our Bud Light prep point. Bud Light, raise one to right now.
Yes, and her fights since she moved to American Top Team have definitely been her most impressive, particularly her victory over Sarah McMahon. She caught Sarah with a big punch, hurt her badly, showed smooth and explosive striking, and then finished Sarah on the ground. And before that, stopping Shayna Baszler in the first round was also a very dominant and very Amanda Nunes-esque performance. When we see her at her best, she's quick, dynamic, she has lethal striking, and as we said, a very high-level black belt on the ground.
Average fight time, 6 minutes and 12 seconds, second shortest. I think I know who has the shortest fight time in the women's bantamweight division. The most Brazilian champions we have had at one time was back in December of 2013. 4, Junior Dos Santos, Anderson Silva, Jose Aldo, Renan Barão, and tonight Amanda Nunes wants to become the first female champion from Brazil. What sticks out the most of all the conversations that Miesha Tate has had with the media coming into this title defense is that she said, I will compete fiercely, and fiercely defines Miesha Tate.
It certainly does, and this is an incredible moment for Miesha Tate. For her, as we said before, she was thinking about quitting the sport just a little over a year ago. Now here she is, the women's bantamweight champion, coming off of a spectacular submission victory over Holly Holm, and headlining the biggest pay-per-view card in the history of the sport.
said her first 6 fights, Joe, she fought for free. Longest signed female Strikeforce fighter. When she beat Sarah McMahon, she suffered a broken left orbital bone in 2 places, still hung on for victory. And she beat the woman who beat Ronda Rousey, Holly Holm, to win the title here in Las Vegas at UFC 196. Fellow fighter Brian Caraway, Miesha Tate have been together forever. They make each other better people. They certainly make each other better fighters.
And Miesha continues to grow and improve as a fighter, and I think it's going to be interesting to see what her confidence is going to be like as champion now. Coming in here, defending her title, and having that victory over Holly Holm, which sort of substantiated what she felt in the first place, that she is a champion, that she does have championship caliber potential inside of her. She has realized that potential. Now she wants to defend that title and define her legacy.
Brian Caraway, Miesha Tate moved here to Las Vegas full-time a time ago. And since that point, we have seen the entire game of Miesha Tate improve. Caraway, Miesha Tate moved here to Las Vegas full-time a time ago. And since that point, we have seen the entire game of Miesha Tate improve, evolve, and explode. Our tale of the tape for this, our main event of the evening. Miesha Tate, the champion. 1 year the elder of the Brazilian challenger, who is 2 inches taller and will have a 4-inch reach advantage. Here's the veteran voice of the Octagon, Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. Presented by Bud Light. Raise one to 1 right now. Sanctioned by the Nevada State Athletic Commission. Chairman Anthony Marnell. Executive Director Bob Bennett. Commissioners Francisco Aguilar, Skip Avancino, Pat Lundvall, and Michonne Martin. Our 3 judges scoring this contest on Octagon side are Adelaide Bird, Chris Lee, and Jeff Mullen. And when the action begins, our referee in charge of the Octagon, Herb Dean. This bout is sponsored by Bud Light. Raise one to 1 right now. Metro PCS, where you can get nationwide coverage on the blaring fast 4G LTE T-Mobile network for just $30 period. And now, this is the moment UFC fans watching around the world have been waiting for. Live from the sold-out T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. It's time! 5 rounds for the undisputed UFC Bantamweight Championship of the world. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a striker holding a professional record, 12 wins, 4 losses. She stands 5 feet 8 inches tall, weighing in at 135 pounds. Fighting out of Miami, Florida, by way of Bahia, Brazil, presenting the number 4 ranked bantamweight contender in the world, the challenger, Amanda, the Lioness Nunes. And now introducing the champion, fighting out of the red corner, a mixed martial artist holding a professional record, 18 wins, 5 losses. She stands 5 feet 6 inches tall, weighing in at 134.5 pounds. Fighting out of Las Vegas, Nevada, presenting the former Strikeforce Bantamweight champion and the reigning, defending, undisputed UFC Bantamweight champion of the world, Miesha Tate!
All right, we've been over the rules. Protect yourself at all times. Follow my instructions. You're gonna have a clean fight. Touch gloves and let's do this.
Miesha Tate is the champion. Amanda Nunes is the challenger. And tonight, the 10th main event for the women who compete in the Ultimate Fighting Championship. Back-to-back title fights. This one at 135.
Ready. Let's do it.
Here we go! Tonight's Fight Clock brought to you by Bud Light. Raise one to right now. Nunes in the Brazilian colors. Black shorts and top for Miesha Tate.
Nunes is a very difficult opponent. She has very fast, very powerful strikes. There's a nice leg kick. And on the ground, she has a very high-level Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. She's very slick on the ground, very strong. So it's going to be interesting to see what kind of strategy Miesha Tate employs.
Outstanding striker, Amanda Nunes. We talked a bit about all the stoppages. She has ended 11 of her 12 wins. 9 of those, Joe, by knockout.
She's got a lot of snap to her punches and kicks. Explodes, moves in very quickly. If there has been any critique of her in the past, it's been that she tends to fade in the later rounds. And there's a takedown by Miesha Tate. And Nunes scrambles to her feet. Tate holds on to the single.
And she's out. Whoa. Nunes started training in karate at age 7. Miesha started wrestling at a young age. And she utilized those 2 takedowns to earn the belt that she so desperately desired for so many years against Holly Holm.
Another thing to take into consideration is how many times Miesha Tate has fought 5 rounds. Miesha Tate has been there, done that, and this will be a new experience in a championship fight for Amanda Nunes.
Very first career title fight, first 5-round fight for Amanda Nunes, Joe.
Amanda Nunes just missed an illegal knee. And Miesha was still down.
Oh,
nice jab
with that
nice
jab.
Right hand. And another nice right hand. She stunned her with that one, Mike.
Absolutely.
Oh, nice jab. Beautiful jab by Amanda. And this is what we're talking about with her striking. Snap. Beautiful speed. Oh, nice right hand.
Again, combination.
Miesha's in trouble, Mike. She's in trouble.
Nunes. She slipped, but still delivers. Miesha is retreating.
She got tagged.
Yep.
She got hurt bad.
Oh my, she's down.
She's in big trouble.
Trying to finish her here.
Miesha's trying to gut it out, but she's in trouble, Mike.
And
she needs a knee. And plenty of time to go here. 2:20 on the clock.
More punishment. Miesha Tate is busted up. And Amanda Nunes.
A lot of blood, Mike.
Feels the belt around her waist.
Amanda's got her back here. Miesha's got to use really good defense here, but this might be the best thing for her. She needs a hammer fist, though.
Big shots by the Lioness. Huge first round for the Brazilian.
She's got her back. She's got one hook in.
Trying to finish Miesha.
She's got the choke.
It is all over. Amanda Nunes is the first female Brazilian UFC champion.
Wow. Unbelievable. What a dominant victory by Amanda Nunes. She busted Miesha Tate up and finished her off and barely took any damage in the process. It was a beautiful performance by Amanda. And everything that we had said about her potential and where her strengths lie, that's exactly what she showed. Nasty snapping punches and kicks. Beautiful movement. Nasty ground and pound, and the black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu that we talked about.
She hurt her with that very first jab, Joe. Fight replay brought to you by Bud Light. Raise one to right now.
What a crazy division this women's bantamweight has turned out to be. Boom, look at that right hand. Stunned her with that. Nunes moves in for the kill. There's another right hand, and Miesha was on full survival mode here. And Amanda just sticking her with that jab, right hand over the top. Had her in all sorts of trouble here, just busting her up. Miesha's legs gave out, and now Amanda takes her back, sinks that arm under the chin, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is a wrap. We have a new women's bantamweight champion. Spectacular performance by Amanda Nunes.
And the celebration begins. Amanda Nunes, Brazil's first female champion. She finishes Miesha Tate by rear naked choke. Her third career submission win, all three rear naked choke. Time for our official decision, brought to you by Metro PCS. For a piece of UFC 200 history, follow at Metro PCS and retweet to win authentic items straight from tonight's fights. Official rules at metropcs.com/UFC. Here is Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Herb Dean has called a stop to this contest at 3 minutes, 16 seconds of the very first round, declaring the winner by submission due to a rear naked choke, and new undisputed UFC bantamweight champion of the world, Amanda the Lioness Nunes.
What a moment. A lifetime of work reaches a pinnacle tonight.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm here with the winner and new champion, Amanda Nunes. Amanda, that was a flawless performance. You showed beautiful striking. You finished her off in the first round. Give us your thoughts on the fight.
Man. You know, every fighter has things to change, to work on, to evolve all the time. And I'm this kind of fighter. I always have to work something on and try to make things happen in my life. And, oh man, Miesha is tough opponent. Everybody knows that. I respect Miesha a lot. And I'm the new champion.
How does that feel?
Oh my God, 10 years in my life, working hard for this moment in my life. And now, I feel amazing. Now I'm gonna back to Brazil to visit my family, my grandma. Thank God she's still alive. She watching this moment. Vó, for you. Pra você, vó. Tô voltando aí, viu? 1 year no see my family. You know, wait for the best moment to back to Brazil to see my family. Now I'm gonna go back to Brazil and then bring this with me.
Amanda, take a look at the big screen and enjoy some of your work, because you had beautiful technical striking tonight. You hit her with some big shots, had her hurt, followed up, and were able to finish her off on the ground. Once you stung her with one of the few punches in the beginning, what was going through your mind when you saw her hurt?
The first thing when I saw she already a little bit hurt, I control myself because I know she's come back strong in the next round. But I make sure I touch her in the right spot. She cannot come back anymore. This has happened.
Amanda, it was a spectacular victory. Enjoy it. Congratulations. You are the new champion, and it was an honor to call your fight.
Brasil! Olha isso aí! Estão voltando, é tudo nosso! Mãe, te amo. Minha irmã tá ali, my sister right there. Can you bring her here, please? My sister right there. Hey, where is my sister coming? UFC has the new champion right here. Come here. Thank you so much, Dana White, Lorenzo Petizes. I text Dana White and tell him, Dana, I'm gonna be your champion. Believe in me, he did it tonight. I give him the back. Look at this, Dana. I'm your champion.
Congratulations. Amanda Nunes, ladies and gentlemen.
She is the champion, and these post-fight interviews are brought to you by EA Sports UFC 2. Play EA Sports UFC 2 for free, now on Xbox Live and PlayStation Network now through July 11th. Back to Joe.
All right, I'm here with Miesha Tate. Miesha, give us your thoughts on the fight and tell us what was the game plan coming in here tonight?
You know, she's a very fast starter, very dangerous in the first round, and she caught me fair and square. You know, this is what I've been saying about Amanda. She's a very dangerous fighter. And, you know, I made some mistakes. Obviously, I got a little bit careless, and it cost me really big.
Miesha, you've been here before. You've regrouped, and you've come back stronger than ever. Where is your mind at right now? What is your thought process?
You know, right now I'm going to go up to Ontario, Canada. I'm going to ride some power sports. I'm going to get my thoughts back together. I'm going to regroup for, you know, maybe a week, and I'll be back in the gym. I always come back stronger for these kinds of things. So thank you so much to everybody who came out here and is a supporter of mine. I love you guys. Thank you so much. It means the world to me that you guys are here supporting me. And I will come back. I promise you, I will come back stronger for this. I always do.
I'm sure you will. Good luck to you. Miesha Tate, ladies and gentlemen.
The former champion, Miesha Tate, classy as always, humble in defeat, and she will come back better. Amanda Nunes, though, owns this night as she leaves with the bantamweight belt. UFC fans, Dana White's looking for a fight, continues the search for the next big UFC superstar while having plenty of laughs and wild fun along the way. In the next episode, available free on YouTube this week, Dana, Matt Serra, and Dean Thomas head to Tinseltown.
We always like to do things that are out of our comfort zone, and LA is no different. So we're gonna go in to the famous Laugh Factory and do stand-up comedy. The way that this thing works is we go back to our hotel room and we have an hour to write our material, memorize it, and then come deliver.
You have a good opening line? Do you know what you want to walk out?
Not yet.
Wow. Not yet?
Hey, listen, help is here.
Great to see you. What's going on? How many guys are going on?
Us three. The three douchebags.
Oh, just you three?
Yeah. Okay. This is bad.
The Mount Rushmore of comedy.
Yeah, exactly.
It is nerve-wracking. It's like pacing like a panther waiting to go on.
Yeah.
Everybody...
No, it reminds me of fighting. It really does.
This next comedian is a former UFC superstar. Please give it up for Dean Thomas. Let him know.
Oh, it felt like you're backstage at a fight. You know, man, I just want to go on already. I feel like I'm about to fight, man. Who knows? I might.
Next comedian / fighter was the former UFC champion. Matt Serra!
When I was walking out to go downstairs to go on stage, our cameras were like in my face. I almost slapped one of the cameras out of the way.
Leave me alone.
My arms were sweating. Arms don't sweat, my arms were sweating.
Give it up for Dana White. Let him know, Dana White.
Everybody who laughs gets tickets to UFC 200.
UFC 200, Tate versus Nunes, has been brought to you by Harley-Davidson. See your dealer today and learn to ride like some of your favorite UFC fighters with Harley-Davidson Riding Academy. Live your legend by EA Sports UFC 2. Get up to 50% off of EA Sports UFC 2 for a limited time at select retailers, in-store, and online. And by Hudson Shipping, transporting innovation. What an evening that started on UFC Fight Pass. And International Fight Week is not over yet. Tomorrow at noon Pacific, the 2006 UFC Hall of Fame ceremony. It's live. Tomorrow, 1:30 p.m. Pacific. UFC Unfiltered podcast, live. Wednesday, we're back with you. UFC Fight Pass prelims. Saturday, live MMA, Victory FC 52, live submission grappling. The Eddie Bravo Invitational number 7 on the UFC's digital streaming service, UFCFightPass.com. What a night. From start to finish, the anticipation and the storylines. What a night it was here in Las Vegas.